We've got audio, yes sir. We've got audio. Now we may begin. It's all doing great. Ready. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone else accompanying us. On this rather precious day of Shabbat, sunny, not so hot, spectacular day of Shabbat, from California, the US of A, today being the 19th of Etanim, the 7th month, we are completely well into tabernacles, Sukkot. We're not traditionally celebrating it, but we do what we want with ourselves, with Leslie. This whole week we've been eating some delicious foods as if we were in Sukkot. We're enjoying per se out of this feast. I'm not speaking about the importance or the celebration we did before, but we're in the midst of this, what this Feast of Sukkot is. Of the year 5994 in our best calculation from creation, corresponding to the 11th day of October of the year 2025, in which we shall study yet another chapter of Wisdom in Discipline, part 36. As you already know, in the previous chapter, number 35, I put in parentheses number 1 that meaning that we restarted the series after a whole year because we passed on to another spectacular series. We are on it again, and last Shabbat we had a subject that it shocked many. It really caught many by surprise, the words of the wise man Solomon. And today we shall continue exactly where we left off to go into depth, because we barely even touched on that subject. We shall continue on with this subject, but of course it's got some conclusions that actually maybe will surprise you, and maybe you get surprised even more. But we shall first, I'd like to congratulate those who have had a birthday, which are a part of the Eternal Truth. Karina Matsuyama, Japan. Clemente Hernandez Marin, Mexico. Daniel Alberto, Argentina. Milton Gonzalez, Colombia. Blanca Aide Ortiz Calderon, Colombia. Cristobal Sangrona, Venezuela. Judith Sonia Garcia Villarruel, Spain. Carlos Ernesto Lozano, Nicaragua, and Camila Alejandra Carrillo, Colombia. To each and every one of you, a great big hug on behalf of all of us. Many congratulations due to your birthday. We really wish that your next birthday may be under a better environment than this government of Babylon. We know that we have to wait, but we wish you the best of blessings to each and every one of you. Very well. Sadly, as you all already know, our coach has passed away. Miguel Angel Russo, at 69 years old, has passed away this Thursday. Was it Thursday? Or was it Wednesday? Thursday, right? Thursday. He passed away on Thursday. It really caught me by surprise. It's not that we weren't prepared or we hoped for it not to be that way, but because I didn't think it would be so soon. And aside from the fact that they were lying to us, as they're always lying to us, that he was coming out of it, that he was recuperating, that there had to be patience, that he was going to feel better every time, and all of a sudden he started to feel worse, and sadly he passed away. He had been born in Lanús. He was a great guy, beloved by all the clubs where he worked on, and even clubs that he didn't work on. He was born in Lanús, like I said. He had his soccer career was in Estudiantes de La Plata. He was a great soccer player there. He was about to be in the national selection of Bilardo in '86, but at the end of it, he was into the eliminations. But at the end of it all, Carlos Bigardo, that was a friend of him, he was a technician, a coach that was from De La Plata, told him that he wasn't going to take him to the selection. It was very harsh for him. And Bilardo told him, when you're a coach, you'll comprehend. And the years passed, and once he said, actually, when I was a coach, I noticed that what Bilardo did, that he has to choose the best thing that there is at that time, and that's how I understand. But it was hard for him not to take me to the selection where he was a champion in Mexico in '86. Well, he's a guy that after playing soccer, a brilliant number 5, he made his career as a coach. He started as a duo and then went alone. He has lots of intelligence and bravery to lead. He got champions in Argentina and Colombia and Argentina, different clubs, and they all did great, and they all love him as a coach. Or they used to love him, or they still do, because love, even if he has passed away, the things that he did and he received, and the benefits of Miguel, or Miguelo, like they used to call him, are all forever in the club. For example, the Lanús club, he ascended them in the year 1992, when I was 2 years into the marriage with Leslie. He went into the first tier. They weren't ready to work in the first tier, but he ascended them. He ascended the club to be a big club. And what the Lanús club is, which is a club that it is very, very good in every aspect, a model club in every sense of the word. They have a new field, actually, but the entire club have such a love to Miguel Angel Russo because he's the one that ascended them. He was actually a marvelous coach. When this year Riquelme announced that he was going to be our coach, I got so excited because it's finally a coach that knows about soccer. I know the guy's old, but of course I knew that he was old. But at first it was difficult for me to accept it, that he was going to guide the team being sick, because he would walk with sick, difficulty. He had his cap on his head because he was bald. Miguel Angel Russo, for those that don't know him or didn't know him, he made us champions. The last time that we were champion in the Copa Libertadores was in the year 2008. Yeah, 2007. The years passed. I think 2008. Well, 2008. I'm sure it was 2007. Doesn't matter. Okay, 2007, 2008. And it was Russo, Miguel Angel Russo was our coach that made us a champion with our Copa Libertadores, our 6th Copa Libertadores. And actually, it was such a battle to win that. We won it with Riquelme, which was fabulous. The team that we have was not so great. It was such a war. In every meeting, there was a game that, if I can remember correctly, it was 7-0. We had to win to be able to qualify. It got complicated, and we got a result in, and then the final was easy. I'm not sure why it was easy, but it was easy. And he made us a champion, and you never forget that. Now, Miguel Angel Russo, it is said that he was from Estudiantes. 2007, right? It was 2007, right? 2007. It is said that he had a love for Estudiantes, that he was a fan of Estudiantes because that's where he started playing, and that's where his whole career happened. But actually, he was a guy that was so great that he acquired love and care by every club that he was in. When he went to Central, he was a fan of Central. When he went back to Estudiantes, he was a fan of Estudiantes. But throughout his career, he gave interviews saying, in the place, the most important one that I felt, which is like my apex as a human and a coach, was Boca Juniors. He was such a great love for Boca. In fact, he asked, for the last days, he asked, when he wasn't doing so well at home, things that they were hiding from us, and they weren't giving us any information, but he already knew what would happen. I think he already knew what would happen with his life. That's why he spoke with Riquelme, and he said, let me be a coach of Boca. I'm not going to last a lot, but I'd like to I would even like to die in the field. And Riquelme, for a motive or another, being he's a very admired person by him, when he was champion, he worked under him in 2007. He accepted without telling us anything. Evidently, he wasn't in the conditions of being a coach, but there was something behind that. I think he asked them as a last dying wish, let me be a coach of Boca, because I want to die being a coach of Boca. That for us, the Boca fans, we give it such a high value to Miguel Angel Russo that is very great. Because being a fan of another club in which he wishes to get to the human heaven of guiding his dream team is because he has such a great love for Boca. In the last days that he wasn't at home, they tell us that he asked to be always in bed with the Boca Juniors jersey. That's impressive. I mean, if the guy loves another club, he's not going to ask that precisely. And they say, I don't know what they said because I haven't seen pictures or anything. He said he asked to be buried with the Boca Juniors colors. That is something that makes Miguel Angel Russo practically an Boca idol forever. Because in order for him to have asked those colors, just like these flowers that they asked for him many things, Roblero family here, we have blue and yellow ones in honor of Russo's Spectacular, the Boca colors. Pardon? No, you can see them perfectly well. You can take a picture. They are precious, those flowers are. To ask to be buried with the colors of Boca, that really, I don't know if it was done or not, that I don't know, but actually it was something that goes way past what a fan from another club could aspire to. That demonstrates a love for something, and he loved Boca. And he was in the Bombonera for a couple nights. Thousands of people go in and to say their last goodbyes, and they would all come out crying. And actually, it's tremendous. Actually, tremendous. And even Recalme will respect that his helper, Ubeda, to continue at least until December. We'll see how long it is. We won 5-0. A very strange game because Newell's wouldn't win anything. We were motivated. I don't know if they told the team, look, maybe it's the last game that Russo sees from home. We'll see. Who knows what happened there, but many things happened. With the team that we played, they didn't want to play soccer, evidently. They didn't want to play. And the others, we played a little better than normal. And we had a little better scoring, 5-0. We could have won 10-0, by the way. So then, oh well, what are we going to do? Miguel Angel Russo is gone now, waiting for the Messiah to come. It was sad. It made me sad this week. It made me sad because I really appreciated Miguel Angel Russo. I did not want him to be the Boca coach in those conditions because it was perjurious for the team because the coach is above the team. And you heard me that he cannot be the coach of Boca. Right, under those conditions, he cannot be the coach. But now that everything has happened and he's gone, actually, I'm very much thankful to Miguel Angel Russo. Today we play. When I say we play, it's because we're all Argentinian. I only play against. We play against Mexico. We all play against Mexico in the Sub-20 World Cup. So then it's to kill or die. It's a kill in Chile. The game will be in Chile. All of Chile, which they hate us. Chile hates us. They hate the Argentinians. They whistle at us. They tell us all kinds of things. And you'll see that I'm sure that Chile is gonna be supporting Mexico. Just remember, whomever, even an African team that plays against us in Chile, they applaud to the African and they whistle at us. Yeah, that's why I don't speak to anyone except for Argentinians. So then today we play against Mexico. Is it for the fourth? No, because we just beat. Whom did we beat against? Nigeria? I can't remember. South Africa? Something that they didn't want to play. I think we won 3-0. It was such a bad game. But the game against Mexico will be good. So then, anyway, let us enjoy the game at 4 p.m. So then a little bit after we're done, the game is next. So then, let's go Argentina. Let's go Argentinian boys that we're going to play against Mexico. And well, let the best win. If Mexico wins, that's fine. We go for Argentina. What are we going to do? If Mexico wins, that's fine. In fact, if Mexico wins, I almost want them to be the champion. Mexico, yes. If we win, then I want us to be champion. If Mexico doesn't win, then I don't want. It's nothing against Mexico. The thing is that we're Argentinian. So then, even if we love Mexico, we're Argentinian. We will root for Argentina. Since the Chileans hate us, they hate us. They can't even see us. I mean, I can't believe it. With the love that we have towards them. That's the way it is. Anyway, that's the way it is. Anyway, we are enjoying Sukkot. And we're still enjoying Sukkot. Very well. A very special subject for tabernacles. But we start off with Shemah Israel, YHWH Eloheinu, YHWH Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh is one alone. One alone. Not two people, not three, one being. That sole being wanted to create everything. He created everything in the way that he wanted to. His will, specific will, and design that's specific. And when the time came, he came and he became one of us. He took on human flesh and he personified someone who, the Son of God, that supposedly is the Messiah. The people confused him as the Messiah. They took him as the Messiah, but he was only fulfilling a role as a Messiah, as a guide for the Messiah, and also another role of annulling all the laws that he had given to human beings, starting with the ones that he gave to Adam and Eve of not eating the fruit, also the laws that he gave to the people of Israel. So then he fulfilled many roles, but it's only one being. It's only one being that came to earth, became one of us, played a role that the people confused, which is part of his design, as if he were the Son of God, the Messiah. And he wasn't the Messiah or the Son of God. He was God himself, the only creator that exists. So then we look about what Yahweh did as a God, as a Messiah, as a guide, because that's what he came to be for us. Aside from annulling the laws, he came to draw for us the Messiah, for us to understand many things of what the Messiah is, because the Messiah would be a group of human beings that in the end of times was Yahweh gonna rise and prepare and crown as Messiah, and he had to leave a guide behind so the Messiah could look back and see a guide. We have two guides. First of which is a symbol, minor symbol, but a messianic symbol nonetheless, which is Solomon, which represents wisdom. He also represents the Messiah. And afterwards, he came personifying a Messiah directly, which also evidently personifies wisdom. Jesus, the Messiah, personifies truth, wisdom, the truth, everything. Therefore, the true Messiah gathers everything that Solomon projects and what Yahweh projects in the form of the Messiah, and he comprehends what the Messiah will do. That is what we're here sitting here today in a school that I call the School of the Messiah, because we are preparing ourselves to fulfill a function whereby we were designed. That function being is not the function that your mom and dad programmed you for in the entire world. The Messiah is different to it all. So then the concepts you hear here, they're not going to coincide with your information, your beliefs. When I gave information last Shabbat, I noticed, because of what you wrote and things that you commented afterwards, that some individuals of the feminine gender, let's say women, kind of upset because of certain expressions that I said, thinking always under their beliefs. That is a problem. That is a problem. That what is a belief? A belief is something that we take to be true, for which we live and die. That is a belief. It is a good concept of belief. What is a belief? It is an information that we believe to be true, whereby we live and die for that information. It could be to believe in medicine, you can live and die for it, evidently. Just as the case of Miguel Angel Russo, because of the prostate crab he had. This whole situation is derived. It is to believe, to live and die in your beliefs. Now, when medicine does its work, when it does it effectively, it did everything that science could do. Now, when someone that practices a different type of techniques, like could be the new divine medicine, I'll use that name, whichever it could be, Margarito or whatever, that does his job, trying to make people understand where everything originates from and trying to get them to change. If somebody does not change or does not practice, but we could give them this information or it's too late or whatever, or they just can't change or whatever, and the person dies, then we're witches. We are the worst thing there is. More than anything, we are hacks. Now, when they felt they're gods, they did everything they did. They did everything they could. It's crazy because what happened to Miguel Angel Russo should not have happened to him, because the prostate crab does not make you lose your hair or not to be able to speak. It's not exactly what they tell you. What the white robe priest will tell you, but they'll do everything possible to take all your money and to worship them and for the later to execute you, because it's like a religion. Exactly, they give you their rules, their commandments, you have to obey them, and afterwards, with supplies and with pleading, then you go to death. Either way, that's the way it is. So then there's nothing to do in that aspect, nothing to do. For on one side, very small side, it's a blessing, because these white robe priests at least give you something in the end for you not to suffer, even though they kill you, like whatever morphine they gave Miguelo, even though they know that it's to kill you, but at least you don't suffer. It's got its advantages, because to die without it helping you at all, or that nothing can be done, and with pain, so at least these witch doctors that are much like religion, they give you the hope, and they soften your pain. Religion does the same thing. When you're about to lose your life, then there's a lot of pain in your soul, because you are a sinner and you feel too heavy with your burdens and sins that you haven't confessed. So then a priest comes of whatever version that you might will and absolves you of your sin, absolves you, and tells you the hope. It says, don't you worry, this is a step, and Jesus is waiting for you in heaven. So then it softens it. They give him morphine. It softens it, and God forgave you of your sins. You're not going to hell. You're going to go to heaven. So then morphine's like going to heaven. You're feeling, oh, how beautiful. And with the prayer, they tell you, your sins are forgiven thee. And you feel good like that because you're free, your soul is, you will go to heaven, you die. Exactly the same thing. Neither do help you at all, but at least those with the white robe, they make it easier for you in that aspect. In that aspect. Nothing else. They were the ones that did that for you. It is very simple. I could say more things about what happened there, but I don't want to say them, because I want for this video to be taken up, but it would have spilled. Poor guy, it had spilled. You know that a white American cannot go to China and become Chinese. He cannot. There's no way. The process that he is contained here, and it goes to a different place, takes over that. No, it doesn't exist. They are precisely new conflicts that they help you develop, clearly. They don't do it on purpose, but the whole system of witch doctors, of lies, they're subjugated. The belief is an information that you believe to be true, that you live and die for it. Remember that it's a definition of a belief that's brutal. A belief It is an information that you believe to be true, and you live and die for it. You live for it and die for it. So then the beliefs that you have, maybe when I said some expressions, because I say expressions to soften a subject and to go on to the next one, and sometimes I don't say them. So as you would wish to hear them, maybe I'm too, I don't know, I'm way too heavy metal, per se, in my expressions, and you say, what? He's attacking us women, but we've been abused, and he's saying that because that can't be compared. Hold on a minute. You have to bring down your belief decibels, which will not make you any Messiah until the information that I'll give you today, for those that actually will be a Messiah, they'll understand it clearly. Your belief doesn't take you to be a Messiah. It doesn't. The belief which I give you, they are spirit and they are life. That is what it is. Flesh is of no profit. Sometimes we're still in the prophet saying, oh, what he said is no good because women have been abused. And it's terrible. Women have been abused. And what he say? Instead of opening your mind and saying, actually, it's not like they painted the picture for me. It's not how they tell us today. Because if today they were to tell me, and now I know this information that women have been so much abused, so mistreated, don't also believe everything you hear because they're all liars. The one that's speaking to you, it's part of the white robe priests. But they're like, yeah, they're right. Men are abusers. Men, don't take that information as if that's the truth. So then now I come and they say, this guy is a misogynist. Is that what they say, a misogynist? Is that what they say? In Spanish. He's a misogynist. No. Hold on a minute. I'm way too upset to have to explain something to you that you don't understand. And I noticed that you didn't, because many women didn't comment. And those that did, you can tell that they're kind of upset with what they heard because of their belief. A belief that they made them believe now. Because they think that the information they received is the truth. Just like the women from another century, whatever information they heard, they thought that was the truth. And so now when they hear a different voice, they say, no, this isn't so. You're wrong. You're making a mistake. How? It's according to the belief that you have. So then don't defend yourself so much. Open your eyes, because I'm going to go into depth even more. Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of Elohim to conceal the word. The word is concealed, so that it is only the glory of the king to understand it. It is the glory of the king to search out the word. So then, the Bible is there. Everyone has access to it, but not everyone has access to understanding it, because only the kings. And who are the kings? It's the synonym of Messiah. It is the kings, not those that rule us now. It is not those of Israel. It is the kings, the eternal ones. Eternal kings are the Messiah. So then, once we study the Bible, and we study a concept that we're about to study something that's impressive, open your mind in order to try to understand more and not to go against me with your beliefs. When I tell you I defend women, believe me, I defend women. And when I say I'm in defense of men, believe it. I'm in defense of men. When I say I'm in defense of all humanity, believe me. So then, let's stop a bit with the beliefs that we have, the wrong ones, and let us start to place new beliefs in our mind, which are concepts in which we live in and die by those concepts. Farewell. Wisdom and Discipline, Part 36. Proverbs 1:2, New Living Translation. The purpose of the Proverbs is to teach wisdom and discipline. and to teach people to comprehend the intelligence of the wise. So then, what is the motive of the Proverbs? To teach wisdom, to provide wisdom of the wise. Of the wise. Everyone thinks they are wise in their own opinion. So then, this study is not to contradict you. Actually, it may contradict you. You can be against certain concepts that I'll present now, but that doesn't mean that you're right, because the true wisdom is given by the wise. So then they're going to try to comprehend the true wisdom, not the information that you believe, not the information we're given, not the beliefs that you may have. Because if you don't need the wisdom of the wise, then there's no need for you to listen to anything else. You're wise already. You're ready to be a Messiah. I don't know how, but you're ready to be a Messiah. We've studied all this already. What wisdom is, which is discipline and ethic instruction, and I give much value to the methodology. Even in creation, there's methodology. You have to be methodic always to make a food, to everything. You have to do a method for painting, for anything, a creation. You have to have a method. With a building, you can't start with the roof because you have to start with the base. It's obvious. I mean, it's obvious things. But sometimes we start to build universes in our mind, castles in the air, but they're incorrectly built because we don't do it even in the correct order that it should. So then our life should be based on a methodology. That's precisely what the wise men teach you, because we're not born with methodology. We're not born with that. Very well. So then, 3, it says in order to receive advice, which actually says discipline, which is methodology, of prudence, justice and equity. The same thing that what justice is, which is a lot more than what the justice that sometimes we think that, oh, I want justice. No. It is justice for everyone, and all types of justice that I talked about last Shabbat, which you have in the study, and that is barely a glimpse of what justice is. And what happened? I brought up a subject that actually it's an immense subject, and I'm just barely touching on it, and I'm not even going to go into depth that much because our information also does not allow us to go way too much into depth into something that is almost under a secret key. That is why. And since I noticed that many women didn't like it, then we're going to touch on it again and go into depth more. Either way, it was a program second part because I wasn't done last Shabbat, and I told you that there are 2 measures, no matter what the order is, but there are 2 fundamental measures that we're going to do when we have a new kingdom. In the new kingdom, we have to start to think about it now. Not late, now we have the power to have a new kingdom. No. The new kingdom starts in the design here and now. Just like I could have a design of a house that I want to make. I don't have the money. I don't have the terrain or anything, but I can start to draw, if I wanted to, the house of my dreams. And if I put lots of faith in it, I'll do it in the best way possible. I want to make it reality, and when you least expect it, that house will become a reality. I'm not going to wait to have the terrain to do that. No, because I don't have the terrain now. It doesn't matter. If I don't have money to build, there's no problem. But since I have the idea of what the house that I want, I'm going to start to draw it. Of course, it's going to have a huge pool, tennis or 2 courts, a very big place to have a project of whatever I want, and to keep things that Leslie doesn't want, like keep in the house. So then I need something very huge to empty all the garbage that I don't want to throw away. And Leslie says, this shouldn't go here, and I know it shouldn't go here, but where the fuck do I put it? If I throw it away, whenever I throw it away, the next day I need it already. I could keep it for 20 years and not use it. For example, a little piece of plastic that said this is good to fix something. And later I start to clean, and then I'll throw it away. And the next day I'll need it. That one, that's exactly what I need. But if I keep it for 20 years, I mean, it stays there. and I start to throw things away, to make space to have others. There's never enough space, and those that I throw away, those are the ones that I need. Oh, that a little piece of metal that I needed, and I find a little thing like this, and I'm not going to use this anymore, and then I find the other part that was necessary, and now with a whole bunch of things, it's happened to me so many times. So then in the house of my dreams, I have a place that I can keep it underground and bring it up whenever I wanted to put whatever it says. Leslie says it doesn't go here, okay, it doesn't go there, but it'll go in a place where I keep a whole bunch of things that I need to keep there. My tennis court and everything that I have to start to design what kind of a house I want. What kind of a house I want. So then, this is an example. So then we're designing a new world. We're not going to want to wait to see when we get to the new world to see what the fuck we do in the new world. No, now we start to do it. And maybe, the designer and creator of everything says if you don't have a plan, says, no, what the fuck am I going to give you if you don't have anything? If you don't have a place for it, I'll give it to Trump instead. Or Netanyahu, he has a defined plan. What is your plan? Oh, I don't know what to do. I waited for you to give me power, and then we'll see what we do. Oh, no. It doesn't work that way. Nothing works like that in the world. Nothing in this world works. If you're thinking, I'm going to buy a house when I have money, no, start to think about the house that you want now. Think about the house you want now, and start to think about the car that you want now. Everything. Visualize it. Go to sleep visualizing it. That it's practically yours. Just like that practically is yours. And you don't know the power of the universe with your mind, the I am. You start to materialize, and when you least expect it, you have it. You feel bad, you materialize that you feel well, something hurts, go to sleep, and think that doesn't hurt, that nothing hurt. Nothing hurt. And think if you can't do something, think that you did it well. That causes for things to happen. The power of our mind is brutal, but of course, if ye were to have faith as the grain of mustard, you could do everything that I tell you. Everything that I tell you. To dream doesn't do anything. To dream believing that you'll receive it causes the miracle. To dream believing that it's already yours starts to move mountains in your life. You can't imagine how. You can't even imagine how. Because the power is here. The I am is within. But you have to practice it. I am, I have the power, I have the control. Sanctified be my name. My kingdom come. It is not a stupidity to repeat it. To repeat it every day. It's not a stupidity. You want to materialize it. I forgive myself just like I forgive the rest. That's the way it is. I forgive myself. It's all mine. I produce what I need. But you have to believe it in the sense of seeing it. Okay, going back, taking that out. I don't want to deviate. We're creating a new world. The new kingdom is not based in the norms of this old kingdom, evidently. So then in the measure that we dream and we have the architecture of what would be a kingdom of justice and truth, this subject that I'm going to touch on is enormous, is immense. It's so great, the subject that we can't even comprehend it way too much, but we have to start to comprehend certain things already. Today I will present two specific things that as soon as we have the kingdom, we're going to do as soon as possible. I'll tell it to you now. So then I want for every one of you that is a part of this to know the first two things that we'll do. The first thing that we'll do, which will surprise you, it'll surprise you, of course, because what is your plan? Oh, you don't have a plan. You have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. Already. We're already behind on it. We're behind. Very well. So then the least thing that I want is to say, oh, Christian said that, oh, poor women that are violated. What an ugly expression. He doesn't understand. I understand a lot more than you. Way too much more than you. What I try to say is, if we compare poor women that have been violated, which is horrible, which is incomprehensible for the people that are righteous and just, that is equal to, or even of a least grade to the violated man, that it's not because of 1 or 2 minutes, it's for sundown to sundown, using every muscle, every energy for another person, given their power and physical strength to obtain food. So then if you women got upset with me because I said poor women violated, it's evident that I hate violators. It's absolutely evident. But also I am so upset, and even more, what they did with men that gave their life day after day, not just some minutes, day after day of subjugation, until they were just exhausted. They would come to sleep because they worked like animals, not a little bit. And that's why I compared violation or abuse with the abuse of human beings, which is not minutes, but hours upon hours and hours to you're exhausted. Tomorrow, more hours and hours and hours. That's why I tell you that if you really don't want to understand what the Messiah is, then really start to think what you're listening to. What the fuck are you listening to? Because I do not make a mistake in my words. When I said what I said it with a reason. And the reason being that human beings, entirely men and women, have been violated. And I am so upset for you to say poor women. It's not poor women. It's poor the human race entirely. Entirely. But out of the two, man has suffered more. No matter what you say, I'll demonstrate it with the Bible. With whom did God get upset with it? With man or woman? I'll demonstrate it to you with the Bible. It's not what you were told in your school, not your mom, not what you see in a fucking psychologist. No, the fucking psychology or modern sexologist says women have been so much abused by men. Oh, men are so evil. No, men have been completely abused until they died, exhausted, exploited. If you don't see that part, you cannot be a Messiah. You just can't be. Just like that, you just can't be. Because you have to see both parts. What women have suffered and what men have suffered. Both things. So then, having understood that, I'll read what Solomon said. And Solomon was the most wisest man that has ever existed until the coming of the Messiah. And Solomon clearly said, we're reading Ecclesiastes 7. Wisdom is always distant and difficult to find. I searched everywhere, determined to find wisdom and to understand the reason of things. I had determined to prove to myself that wickedness is stupid and that foolishness is madness. I discovered that a woman, they added the word seductive. It doesn't exist. It says it with an asterisk. It's good to fix it seductive, not the non-seductive, the one that is your mom. That one is not the one it's talking about. And so, no, Solomon's talking about one and out of every woman that exists, in the opinion of Solomon. I discovered that a woman, all of them, is a trap more bitter than death. Why did the wise men, which is the projector of the Messiah, says such a barbarity like that? Of course, you say this is a misogynist. He hates women. What's a misogynist? Miso is hate, and geno comes from women. That's why it's a gynecologist. Gyno means women. So then it means hate towards women. That is the term. Why did Solomon hate women? No, Solomon didn't hate women. Evidently he had hundreds of them. So then the last person that can speak about women being evil is him, because he had not just one, because if they were evil, then I guess he went overboard. He had a whole quantity. What is he trying to say behind everything he's saying? I discovered that a woman is a trap more bitter than death. Her passion is a snare, and her soft hands are chains. Those who are pleasing to God will escape her, but sinners will be caught in her snare. What is Solomon saying? That I have to escape to please God. I have to escape women. Then I should become either gay or a eunuch, or to stay completely celibate. Because Solomon, you're not the example to follow. Gay you probably were, most surely, but not about becoming celibate, and you didn't become a eunuch. And apparently you didn't please God all that much because you didn't have one. You had like 600 or more, almost 1,000 are those that are registered. So what's your point, Solomon? I want to know what the fuck Solomon's saying. And I can imagine you want to know what Solomon's saying also. It says, those who are pleasing to God will escape her. Whom? The women, it says. And escape her. But sinners, the transgressors, will be caught in her snare. This is what I have found, the wise men said, having searched everywhere to find out the reason of the loss of so many men. What is the loss of so many men? It is women. The reason of which my soul is still searching repeatedly, well, I haven't been able to discover, because between 1,000 men, I found one, and not one woman. I'm reading a different version. Okay, I'll read it to you entirely. This is a different version. This is a different version. Let's read this very same text in the Spanish Torres Amat. Ecclesiastes 7:26 through 29, Torres Amat. And at the end I found that more bitter than death is woman. What the wise men Solomon find, the figure of the Messiah. At the end I found that it is more bitter than death, women are, which are a snare, and her heart a trap, and her hands chains. Who is pleasing to God will flee and escape her, but the sinners will be left caught in her snare. This is what I found, said the Ecclesiastes, or the preacher, having searched repeatedly to find the reason of the loss of so many men, reason of which my man is still looking for without having been able to find it, to know why within 1,000 men I found one, and none between all women, not in 1,000, but in all of them. But I found this: God created men righteous. God created men righteous. And man himself twisted himself into infinite things. He's talking about women. He said God created men righteous. God created men righteous. And he got twisted with women. He says, and he's still saying, who is like unto the wise men? Who knows the solution of this difficult parable? I know it. Solomon didn't know it. That's why Solomon, in my point of view, said a whole bunch of things of mistaken comments. And now I say it because now the second part of the subject has begun. Last Shabbat I said, why did Solomon say this? I know the answer, but I didn't tell you. Solomon said that because in the age and the time that he said it, and in the wisdom that he had, was not enough to understand this, and that women are not the problem. But he, in his mind, saw it and looked at it, and said the problem are women. And there is wisdom in that, but it's wrong because it really isn't the truth. So then, are we going over Solomon? Yes, completely. Solomon is just a projection of wisdom. Solomon is an image, a glimpse of what the Messiah is. Not because of that or there's a need for me to criticize him or eliminate him. No, none whatsoever. I understand what he said. He didn't understand it. He said it clearly. He says, who knows the solution of this parable, this difficult parable? I can't find it, Solomon said. I can't find it. How is it that God made women and becomes more bitter than death, and man is lost with her? So then what should you do? Flee from her? I don't understand this parable. He didn't understand it. Was he right? No, Solomon was not right. I'm going to explain the whole process. He wasn't right. Women women is not the problem. This statement, I'm not trying to say it's false, because false is as if he said it on purpose, not, but this statement is completely wrong. Women may become in the most bitter thing there is, but when there's the combination with men and what man does, and the situation they're in, but it's by design. It's not women's fault, and it's not her fault. It's not what Solomon says. Women on their own are not bitter. How didn't he notice that men are also so bitter? That doesn't apply. He says, well, 1 in 1,000, but women none. No, Solomon, you're very wrong in that. You're very wrong. It doesn't matter if he's wrong or not. We're here for a superior wisdom. He gets to say, who knows who's equal to the wise man, who's equal to him? We are. We're superior, not equal. Who knows the solution to this parable? I know it, and I'll let it be known now, at least in parts. And I told you this is way too big. I'll read the same text, but in the Serafín Ausejo, the Serafín de Ausejo, it's very good translation. Ecclesiastes 7:27 through 29, Serafín de Ausejo says, and I discover that even more bitter than death is the woman, because she is a trap, her heart a snare. Her hands are chains. He is that is pleasing to God can escape her, but the sinner is a prisoner of hers. Apparently he is very much of a sinner because he was a prisoner of 900. This is what I discover, the wise man says, the preacher. Going unto one thing and another to find a reason that I'm still looking for the matter, and I can't find it. Though I have searched repeatedly, I have not found what I was looking for. Only one man in 1,000, but not one woman between all of them. This is all thing that I discovered, that God made man simple. But man himself looks for an infinite number of complications with women, is what he's saying. That is what he says. I'll repeat this again. He's completely wrong. Solomon is in his concept. He didn't understand not even the first, second, or third chapter of Genesis. He didn't understand it. Very, very wise, very wise. I compare him like a lamb with the true Messiah. There's the lamb that would get slaughtered, that was Solomon, and the true Messiah inside, that was the true one. So then the difference there is between a lamb that can't think to the Messiah that died, or the figurative Messiah that died, that is the difference between that I find between Solomon and the real truth. Because to say a statement like that from Solomon is even, it causes one to cringe. I didn't say all these things last Shabbat because I want for you to assimilate them little by little. Genesis or Bereshit 3:16 through 19. The Spanish RV 1960. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. There is an asterisk in the Spanish RV 1960, and it says, there's an A that says, the word which is your desire shall be unto your husband can be translated as your will shall be subjugate to your husband. That word desire is also will. You see, when it said, I have the will to do this, I have the desire to do this, well, it could perfectly well be said, the will, your will be unto your husband. So then I take your will away. Whatever you might want to do, your husband will have the authority over authorizing it or not, or to take the authority to say that is not done, and we're not going to do that, and that's it, it's over. This is way too deep, but this is not. Yahweh the Creator is not predicting something. He's not prophesying something. He is programming something which we cannot take from on top of us until now, because women, I want you to understand this logic, don't argue with me, I could care less whatever beliefs you may have, which are precisely, I've already told you that are information that you think to be true, that you live and die for. You live and die for that information, for that belief. So then, right now, since I cannot be in your head to see what you're thinking, you have to try to understand my words. And then afterwards, do whatever you want. You keep your beliefs. You make your own kingdom, a different one, a kingdom of women where women can rule, whatever you want in your mind. But the coming kingdom of the Messiah will have a form, and I'm trying to show it to you. The words that Yahweh's programming is being programmed for all of humanity, and there's no way of taking them out until one with the same power of Yahweh may come, and the same programmer of humanity to come and take it away. But as long as the voice of Yahweh is a part of our nature, it's never been achieved, nor will ever be achieved under the human means for humans or for a woman to give birth without pain. Naturally, it doesn't exist. We can fake it a bit through anesthesia. We can make it dormant because the muscle is still in pain. And when the anesthesia leaves, it is in pain. What produces the pain is there. And all we can do is to disconnect the brain where the pain is felt to the real pain. But never achieves to take the pain away, but it does is to make it dormant, to make your brain dormant, not the pain. The pain is still there. If they make my finger numb and I am cut, of course the pain is there, but since it's dormant, it doesn't make this sign get to the brain, but the pain is there. I don't experience it. So then humans, through no medicine, have ever been able to take the real pain of the woman. They make it numb, the zone, but the pain is there. The pain is there. Imagine that they were to pull teeth without anesthesia. The pain is there. When they numb you, don't think that they've achieved to kill the pain. No, they don't kill the pain. What they killed is that they deceive the nerves that mark the pain. But the pain, your body's feeling it. You don't feel it, but your body's feeling it. Your organ is feeling it. So then there's no way for man to take pain out of the woman. They make it numb. She doesn't feel it. Some go overboard and they die. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But that humans have achieved to numb it, but not take it out. The day that we say, without taking anything, now we have achieved for women to anatomically to do it this way and to have women without pain, not even a yelp. It's a pleasure even to have, maybe now she wants to have another one. She just had one, she just wants another one. It's a unique pleasure. No such thing exists. So then I want you to take that point of view as a base, an anchor. I want you to take it as an anchor, or else you won't understand the subject. So then, when it says, thou shalt bring forth children with sorrow, it exists up until today exactly because it is engraved in genetic information. There's no way to take it out. Then it says something else. Your desire, your will shall be unto your husband. Now it's not your husband. Because right then when he says it, there was only one husband and one woman. It's not your husband. It's not your husband. I'll read how it was recorded. Because women are not free. And when she gets married, that the woman take possession. No. All men have possession of women that look at her like a woman. And if she goes to a job, it's not that they take a possession, but they dominate her. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Man doesn't have eyes for her husband. They want to dominate her wife and whomever else. And that's always happened in ancient times. So understand my words, and if I'm wrong in explaining them, try to understand them based on what I am explaining. Your desire shall be unto the husband, the man, not your husband, but man. Because that desire could be that it's for your grandfather or your uncle, that they come and they violate the woman and they violate the women. Why? Because there is an information that is as strong as the pain of bearing children. Take that into account. This is not that Yahweh says I'm looking in the future, men will be evil. No, no, no. I am programming it for it to be so. There's no chance for you to take that programming off of you, just like you can't take the pain away from bearing children. There's no chance. I'm programming the male to be that way. And he shall be rule over you. The man shall rule over the woman. That's it, it's over. No matter how much of a feminist movement there is and you think that it's turning the world, it's not turning anything. It is a simple anesthesia. That men act better now? Of course they do, because they're scared. They're scared. They contain what they feel. They're not able to bring out that the man is the Lord over the woman. They can't take it out because it's an information that the Creator placed. It's like the story of the frog and the scorpion. The scorpion says, "Can you cross me over?" You've heard this already. You know this. I'll tell it to you. A scorpion tells the frog, "Look, I'll drown in the water, but I have to cross. Can you help me cross?" And he says, "How am I going to cross you? Once you're on top of me and I'm carrying you, you're going to sting me with your poison. And I'm going to die because of the pain. I'm going to drown, and you're going to drown too." He says, "No, think it over. Think it over. I'm going to sting you and also place my life in danger like that. It isn't so. I have that sting to defend myself from animals that want to attack me. You're doing a service for me. I'll be very grateful for it. How am I going to sting you? I don't want to die. I want to live." He says, "You do understand? I want to live." So then the frog says, "Okay, you're right. Okay, get on top of me then. I'll take you." So then the frog was swimming in the middle. Clack! And it feels the sting, and he says, "But didn't you tell me that you wanted to live?" He says, "Yes, of course I want to live." The scorpion says, "But I told you they were going to sting me." "Yeah, you told me. Why did you sting me? Explain to me. Why are we going to die now? There's no solution. We're both going to die. I started to feel the pain. I can't move my legs. You're going to die with me. Why did you do it?" And the scorpion says, "You know the answer." What is the answer? What is the answer? "It is my nature. It is my nature. I can't do anything against my nature. I knew that I was going to die, and I stung you, knowing I can't stop it. The pain of the bearing children, can they stop it? No. Then no feminist movement or no shit out there that you think is true will stop the dominion of a man over a woman. There's no chance. There's no chance. It doesn't matter how much you believe that society is advancing, or this stupid generation that they seem more gay than anything because they're not males, and they say, now we're educating men to be, to not dominate the woman. They're so respectful they even want women to dominate them. Well, that stupid generation, you see, will never do anything. Those who dominate this world, those who have money, those who move real things, those are not of that stupid generation that you see. The men that rule the world and that will never stop ruling the world, and the rest of the human beings, which are really men, have activated to be the Lord of the woman, and the rest that apparently respect the woman, they respect her, it is dormant there with anesthesia, or else they lie to you. But very much within them, they say, I have a phallic cylinder, and this is a phallic crassy. What was the term that I used? What was the term that I used? Phallocentric. God made a world, not that turns around the sun, but that turns around the phallic cylinder. Follow me? It says follow me? He said, do you follow me? Do you follow what I'm saying? If you don't agree, I could give a fuck. I need people that understand what I say, because with that people is how the new kingdom will be founded. You don't like what I said, then fuck off. What do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? But I do measure you when you don't leave a comment. Oh, you got upset with what I said. You got upset. So you didn't understand my words. What did you think, that I was going to speak only for you because you're in the same case? If you don't speak to me with a tie, I don't listen to you. If you don't cut your hair, I won't listen to you. If you use bad words, I won't listen to you. And if you don't understand, or you don't speak to me in the terms that I want to be spoken to because I'm a woman, I won't listen to you. No, tell the truth. This is the truth of it all. There is a programming that man says, I am the boss. Women are my servants. I'm not saying it. The scripture says it. He shall rule over you. Not because he's evil, because I'm programming him to do so, and he will achieve his function, because that is how I'm designing it. It don't matter what you believe or think or you heard or you thought that the feminist movement is doing miracles in the world. He's not doing any miracle in the world. When a man sees a woman, do you know what he sees? I want you to understand a sexual object. Not in vain did Yahweh programming this way. Did he say, I don't want no priestess in the sanctuary? There can't be. It's not because they're no good. Of course they're good. Maybe they're better than men. It's not because they're no good, but it's because the sinners will go, and when they see a woman, they will see a sexual object. That is the mind of the man. You didn't hear this on TV because they lie to you. They say, now man is changing. I mean, he's changing. It's the information that they tell you. That's what's changing. You believe it. Like when they're saying, we're about to cure the crab. You believe everything they say. Look, use this here, and it's going to protect you from the cold. What do you mean it's going to protect you? But people believe it. They believe it, and they think they're changing everything. That man is acting better? I'll tell you that yes. That there's not so much violence? Yes, because he's scared. But not because man has changed, but he's scared. Because the respectful ones have always been respectful like me and like all the men that are like that. But those who are not respectful, they start to stop because they're scared, because women leave them, they can get divorced, or they go to jail. It used to not happen. They used to get hit and get humiliated, violated, and it nothing happened. And if they said something, they spoke out, it would be more humiliated. So women didn't have anyone to protect them. So then men used to abuse, because that type of man, has always existed. But then there's those that just let loose with this information that God placed in everyone, that they don't control it, and now they control it more out of fear and also out of education, because they say this is wrong. Before they used to say, maybe you're not a man if you don't do this. Now out of education they said a man shouldn't do this. So then, based on the primitive information, the basic one that we have, we can place this information. A man has to act this way. A man has to treat a woman well, which is the best thing that we could do, is to educate a man that way. So then man is being held back. But what's latent below, it's there. It's not changed. We have placed beliefs that make men stop themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So then that he is respectful, but within, deep inside the man, he says, this lady is a sexual object. So as to not say something else I'll just use this expression. A man looks at a woman, even if the president, you know what a man think? Every man. Why didn't she shut the fuck up? Who does she fuck? Who's she fucking? He doesn't say, I want to fuck her. He just thinks, I wonder what face she makes when she opens her legs. Even if he's looking at her seriously, he's like, yeah, we're listening to the female president of Mexico. An all Mexican man looks at the president and says, I want to see your husband. We want to see. I'm not trying to say things. I don't want to say things that are so obscene. I want to see what face she makes when the husband gets on top of her, when the husband does the service on her. And aside, you're being too serious, but I'm sure you yell a lot. I want to know how loud you yell. The man thinks that, it doesn't matter if this is new to you. A man looks at a woman, there can be a female president that he sees her like that. And the women say, good thing, we're triumphing. What do you mean they're triumphing? The day that they're in the mind of a man, you see how a man looks at a woman. What do we see though? Because we're programmed to see him that way. You see how Solomon looks at her. Solomon says, yeah, it's the worst thing there is. You think Solomon would have a female president? It is the most bitter trap there is. All the philosophers, one is worse than the next. Or else look up what the philosophers say. I'm not going to quote any one of them, but the philosophers say women are an abomination of nature. Women are tiny, low, and we see her pretty because we're sexually attracted to her. If we weren't sexually attracted to her, we would see her as such a ridiculous dwarf because we're stronger, we're taller, and more skillful. And we only look at women beautiful because we have a sexual attraction that makes us see that, or else we wouldn't even appreciate her at all. They're actually something. That is what the philosophers say. Okay, I'm not saying that. That is what the philosophers say. Why? Because there is something that the wisest of them all said this by Barry. Then there's something. So then God, which He programmed us, knowing this, He says, "Look, don't place any person to in the temple, because the guy's going to be sacrificing the lamb, right? He's going to think, I'm not going to ask men here because some will deny it. Minto was going to say yes. Minto says, no, I don't think that. I mean, you're not going to, I mean, it's here. There's no respect from men towards women. In fact, if we would go up against a female judge, since she has power, we lower our head, and men, I'm an exception, but men, like all the ones sitting here and all listening, they're before a female judge, they're scared, and she has power over them, and that man gets so upset, but he can't do anything. She's a female judge, and so they act like good people that they respect the female judge, but in their interior they say, "What a fucking bitch! She's been so fucked. This fucking slut. You don't have what we have. The phallic symbol. You're a slut." I've said it because I want you to understand what I mean. Understands. Now, if she's a virgin, man steps back a bit and says, "Oh, she's a virgin, though. She's a virgin. Virgin. She is more valuable because she's not fucked yet. She's a virgin." So then that's why we're the Virgin Mary, like this. So then the whole Catholic world love the Virgin, but they have to say Virgin. She's even called Virgin. They don't call Mary. They say, let's go to the Virgin. The Virgin from Lujan. It's not the Virgin Mary from Lujan. She's the Virgin of Guadalupe. When was her name Guadalupe? Her name was Virgin Mary. But the name doesn't matter. It is the Virgin what we value. If we know that she lost her virginity, then she's worthless. She's no longer a virgin. She's a bitch and she's a whore. She's a virgin whore. No, the woman doesn't go up into a state of purity when she's not a virgin. No, it doesn't matter if she's with her husband. For the mind of a man, she's a virgin or a whore. In between the two, you have your mother. Give or take, she's like a trinity. You have your mother that you know she's not a virgin or a whore. You know that, and you don't even want to think about it. You know it. When you were little, Freud says that you wanted to have sex with her. Even it was your only attraction. It was your first love. You came out of her vulva. You felt all of hers. You sucked at her tits, and you wanted to lay with her until she kicked you out of the room. But you that don't kick her out of the room, you have the mother here. You have her here. That's why you have to take the kids quickly out of the room. Freud discovered it very, very clearly. Very clearly, the effect of the child with the mother. It is absolutely clear. But since we all believe all the jokes that they tell us, that it's all just a little story of fairies. It's not a fairy tale. Men and women were a sexual twister ever since we were born. Ever since we're born for sex. If we don't understand that, we won't understand today's subject. So then, the virgin woman for men she's a virgin. That's why the Catholics defend that she is a virgin, that Joseph never touched her, and that she never had other children. And when Jesus came out, I don't know where he came out from, but not through there. Maybe cesarean, because through there she's no longer a virgin, because he broke everything. So then I don't know how, it was through the Spirit, Holy Spirit, just like he went in, he went out. So then, in the moment in which a Catholic understands that she's not a virgin, there's no more love. Now she's a whore. The fucking whore, Mary. Just directly like that. There's no turn of the page. That's why she has the face like this. Actually, if you look at the Virgin's terrible vagina, I won't look at it, but you can see it. The whole image of the Virgin Mary is the feminine anatomy that men love. Men is such an idiot, so deceived, that's why they love their virgin so much. They love their fucking virgin, no? So then the whole drawing of the virgin is the sexual organ, the feminine one. The head of the virgin is the clitoris. Everything outside, it's the labia. And within everything inside is the minor labia. And then the hymen down here. So then the men say that, and they say, what a purity, the Virgin Mary. They're seeing virgin vulva. That's what they're seeing. But they're so stupid, idiots. I don't know what the fuck I speak, but they're going to get all upset because I said that they violate women, and you think that that is... And they get horrified. You think that I'm what? You have to open up your mind if you really want to be a Messiah, because the world has been deceived completely, brutally so, absolutely so. So then, when God tells women, your Lord will be man, up until today, it'll always be man, the Lord of the woman, period. No matter how many female judges are there, or if the female judge, a fucking slut, condemned you to death, is what it is. Authority, by force, or else, you're a fucking slut. That is the mind of the male. That is the mind of the male. If you didn't know what I'm saying and you're completely surprised, maybe you said, oh, I can't believe that men are such pigs. It's not that we're pigs. It is the programming that they give. They didn't give it to me. I'm talking about that sector over there. They didn't give it to me. They gave me a different programming. But men were given that programming. So the one that you look at the pastor of your church, when you would go to church and the pastor would say, Christ saves you, he's also saying, it'd be great to see you naked. I would love to see you naked. You're more than anything, you're just a cunt, a vagina, or whatever you want to call it. That's the way it is. That's what man sees, what he visualizes, and she's very beautiful. He turns to look at her from behind, even if it's a pastor, the priest, doesn't matter whom. That is what he sees. Why? Because it's a programming. There's no respect, even if they show you the respect. So then when you may defend yourself very well because you don't believe in the words that come from any male, you're going to start to understand the psychology of man and to be able to comprehend who really is a good man for you, not another, that is being guided only by this which was written by the Creator. So then, 17, and now we are going to number every curse. And to the man he said, how many curses do we say for the woman? With pain you shall bear children, and your desire or will should be unto the man, and the man will rule over you. 3 curses, 3 curses. To the man, oh, mamma mia. That's what no one sees. No one taught me this. And to the man he said, for you have obeyed the voice of your wife. Right there, he psychologically through a brutal psychological. That's why a man cannot listen to a woman's voice. He says you have to listen to her by force, but there's a rail there. Notice the psychology of the Creator. He grabs Adam and he tells him, for whereby you listen to the voice of the woman. So then now it's like, look at the last time that you heard the voice of the woman. What happened? Look at Adam. It's a rail. What was Adam's mistake? He says, you obeyed your woman's voice. So then what should we not do? What should we not do? What should we not do, Minto? But of course, that's why the male, when the woman talks a lot, he says, can you shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch? I don't want to listen to it. Always, bro, shut the fuck up. Don't tell me what I have to do. I wanted it. No. First thing the man says is no. When he wants to make her fall in love, and then he says, yes, whatever you want, I'll give you a castle. But that is because he is hot. But once that he's no longer hungry, he's like, hey, fuck off, fucking bitch. Don't talk to me. Just don't talk to me. I don't want to listen to you. That's how it starts. That's all the matrimonies end. Well, let's just look at your matrimony of many years and notice if your man wants to listen to you when you have problems. And just says, no. It's like, no. What do you want? Just quickly tell me. I don't want to listen to you. Where does that come from? You read the Bible and it's marvelous. What does the Creator says? Look, Adam. The first stupid shit you did is that you obeyed the voice of the woman. You don't understand. You should not understand the voice of the woman. How are you going to hear the voice of the woman? That is what the guy is saying. No, that you've never thought about that. Nobody ever told you. The man says, oh, the first thing you got to do is to never obey the voice of the woman. That's it. It's over. He's the Lord of the woman. He doesn't listen to her. So the woman feels non-comprehended. Or do you think that the woman is always that the man listens to her? When have you heard that? My husband always listens to me. No, he doesn't want to listen to you. The first thing that the psychologist says, he doesn't listen to me. He doesn't listen to me. I tell him he doesn't listen to me. Have you heard that or not? Do your husbands listen to you? Here they say that he does by hour. Is that true? No, it says nobody hears anyone. I'm different, mind you. I'm different. I listen to Leslie all day, but I've surpassed that. I'm in an ascended level. I speak to you so you ascend. So you ascend. I always talk to you about ascension. I talk to you about the elimistic way. I've ascended to a different way. So I do listen to my wife's voice. It's not that it's easy, but I have developed by fighting that. But in every man, it is innate to not hear anything. It is more important to listen to a man, his friend, and his mother even more because it's a woman, but she's not a whore. Because for the husband, I've already told you something that you don't understand. For the husband, the belief is that once I got married, even if she's a virgin, in the moment that she's already lost, even with the husband, she's a whore. She's a whore. That's it. It's over. That's it. She's a whore. That's it. It's over. It's over. She's not a whore as long as she's a virgin. She's no longer a virgin. She doesn't change to a different state of an experienced, loving woman. No, she's a whore. In the mind, I'm talking about. In the mind. Value from 100 to 0, or even less, even less. They're like, how do I take this off of me? Okay, taking that out. Taking that out, we're going to go back to that. Taking that out, it says, for whereby you listen to the voice of your wife, and you ate of the tree that I commanded you, thou shalt not eat thereof. The first one is, you hearken the voice of thy wife. That's why we can't hearken the voice of our wives. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. Notice, the ground is cursed because of man, not of woman. Everything that is cursed on earth, it is because of man, not because of women. In sorrow. It says, you women, you will bear children with pain. But you, man bears children, let's say, once a year, and if it's every year, that is like insanity, right? Something insanity. Something insane. Some, she can have more than one because some die because of that. But what about man? Where does the sorrow of the man come? With sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Which is worse, that of man? Women, they bear children with pain. But men, you will have sorrow all the days of your life. Women, you'll bear children with pain. But men, you'll have sorrow and pain every day of your life. Wow. Thorns and thistles shall it produce thee, another curse, and thou shalt eat the herbs of the field. That's another curse. We used to eat fruit only if we only wanted that. Now we have to plant the fucking plants. Look at all the plants. The bugs come, they eat everything, but now we want plants of the field because he obligated and made us have a taste for it. And here, notice, with women, the curse is already done, but notice this. With the sweat of thy brow shalt thou eat the bread thereof. What does that mean, the sweat of thy brow? It means you're going to spend your last gram of energy and be exhausted. You will be exhausted. You'll leave all of your effort for what? Just to eat the bread until you go back to the dust, for you were taken out of it, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. Unto man he made a great devalued conflict that comes innate in men. To the woman, he doesn't tell her that she's dust. She's not dust. The woman is taken out of the man. Whether it's the rib or the phallic bone or whatever, but the man is taken out of the earth. We're talking about the original man, right? So then he says, you know what you are, Adam? He tells him, just being very demeaning, you're dust. And that's a lie. That's a lie. It was to argue the creator of everything, to grab him by the neck. We didn't have power. That's a lie. The man is not dust. Man is not dust. And it always pissed me off when the pastors, when they were trying to devalue us and to treat us like dog shit. This is your dust, you're dog shit. No, you're dog shit. You must be dog shit talking, but I'm not dust for anything. And I'm not trying to become dust yet. The day that I no longer exist, as thinking and my life leaves me, maybe I'll start to become dust. But now, out of dust, I am not. I'm not going to say something else that I wasn't thinking of. I'm not dust. So then for you to come tell me that I'm dust, I'm not. I'm not dust. I'll show you what dust is. This is not dust. When I have flour and then I make a bread, I can't say this is flour. No, it's a bread. So it doesn't matter if I was formed out of the dust like Adam. I'm not dust. So then that devaluation was recorded in us. You know what Yahweh recorded in us? He says, you're dog shit. Yes, that's what he recorded. It's within. We're dust, and we have to fight against trying to revert that we still can't. But at least with the I am, and that is where he programmed that we're going to die. That's where he programmed that we're going to die entirely. With the dust, with the sweat of thy brow shalt thou eat the bread until you go back to the ground, for out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and dust shalt thou return. How many curses did men get? More than women, obviously. Don't look at it that way. For me, both things, they receive the same curse. We both suffer the same thing. Both of us suffer in different levels depending of what women do. They suffer something. If they do something else, they suffer something else. Men used to suffer more. Some that had money had a little bit better, but we all suffer. So then I'm not going to tell you that women suffer less. No. I am showing you that humans, we were born to suffer, and we die suffering. And we give birth suffering, and we have sex suffering also. Because the same effort that is required to work, it is required to have sex. That is why there is sweating. With sweating, we have sex, and man loses vital energy. And when man finishes a relation, he is exhausted. He no longer wants anything else. Because if he had little energy, now he has less energy. And all he wants to do is to sleep or do something else. And if he wanted more, he can't. He can't do more. He doesn't want to. And women, since she comes from Venus and we from Mars, she does want more. And as the cycle starts, she says, I want more now. What do you mean? What do you mean more? That's it, it's over. So then it's over. So the woman says, hold on. We just started right now. I said, no, what do you mean? That's it. It's over. Let's go do something. Let's sleep. Go cook me. Make me a sandwich or something. Go wash the dishes. Do the laundry. If you have time, also take care of the children and cut the grass. That's it? You're going to leave me? The woman says. Well, I'll explain that. I'll go back to that. Curses of the woman, I'll number them. With pain thou shalt bear children. Not just bearing children itself, labor is painful, but the whole path to the labor. It's not funny to have that stomach, you have to carry it, and also it makes you feel bad, takes energy out of the woman. She suffers a lot to the point that many women die during the pregnancy. And even more in times of old, they would die. In giving birth, they would die. There was a high chance of women dying. Giving birth, it is terrible. Giving birth, it is terrible. Women have always suffered. And not just do I say that that curse ends, or it is for giving birth, it's also afterwards. It is a great labor to bring up children, to leave her personal time to teach the children, to feed them, to be there when they cry, to almost not sleep because of the kids. Women have a brutal job to bring them up. Not just having pain bearing children, it is pain ever since she's pregnant until almost that the children leave. Because it is pain, it requires lots of pain to bring the children up. That's the way it is. So then, second curse, the desire or the will of the woman shall be unto the man. The desire or will of the woman is taken that out, and that will, and it is given to the man. Not her husband, but man. I'm talking about genders here, man. She is taken out of her will. Even if she has it, I want you to understand, the woman has no will, do this, do that. Some are like that, but there are some that are like that, but it's not what's common, and it is because they were very programmed to do so. But women have their own will and their own desire. It's just that the will of the man is stronger, and he dominates over her. So it says, your will shall be for the husband, and your will that you do have, he will have a stronger will and will overpower you. He will step over your will and crush you. He's stronger. He's stronger. That is what Yahweh is saying. So then that's why you're going to suffer more, because you're going to want to do something else, and the man's going to want to do something else. It's not that you always want to do what the husband says. No, your will not be fulfilled. It'll be what the man says. What is the other curse? Men will rule over you. Men will be your Lord. Whatever happens, the centuries may pass. When there's more education, it'll be a little less evident, but the man will always be the Lord over you. There's no possibility that you can revert that. Man is stronger than you. Man, I gave him the will to overpower yours, and I gave him the command to be your Lord. Interesting. It's all here. It's all here. It's not that one parent placed it upon another, or a society's machista. No, we came from a creator that programmed us that way. That's why the societies have responded to the DNA that is in every male and in every female. It's not that society made us that way. Society, in many cases, has been softening the effect, but what that must have been at the beginning, wow, I mean, what this must have been at the beginning, I don't even want to know what this must have been at the beginning. We don't even have the information. How many information of how many women do you have at the beginning? What's Noah's wife's name? Tell me. We don't even know what the fuck her name was, because nobody could care less. Noah didn't care, nor Moses, to write her name, because it was like, who cares about the woman? Who cares? What about the wives of Noah's sons? Who could care less? There were nothing. It was Noah and his wife, and Noah's sons, their names? Shem, Cam, and Japheth. We know it by memory. Japheth, right? We know it by memory. But what about the girls? No one could care less. Nothing. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? No one cares. All that matters is Noah and his 4 children. The rest, Why? Because in that time, it was even worse. It took a whole conscience of little by little to be respected a little bit, just a little bit, for a woman to be respected. Up until now, that she's respected the most that the society has ever seen in all history, for her to be respected, because women now are respected to a level that's never seen before. Do we agree with that or not? That doesn't take away the curse that she has that man says you are a whore. You might be a female judge, but you don't have a penis like I do. And you're just a slut. And if I wanted to, I could even do you the service, but since you're nauseous to me, somebody else will fuck you. That is what the man thinks. I'll subjugate myself to you because you have the army on your side, but tell the truth, just leave me alone with the judge to see what is left of her. That is what man is. I'll submit to her, to a female pastor. She's talking about Jesus and all that, but what a pair of tits she has. That's what a man thinks. That's what a man thinks. My dad understood that. That's why he says, why my dad treated him as a misogynist. He taught me, the whole church, to say, as long as I speak, no woman will come up here with me. No woman, and people say, what a machista he is, Mr. Pastor Silva. It's not that it was machista. He would explain it. No women will come up here. Or no, that's it. It's over. I don't want women up here. Because in the Adventist church, before they would preach and they would stay in the back, I don't know if you remember. I always saw it so ridiculous. The elders and all the representatives and the pastor would be preaching the sermon, and there were people sitting behind him. Do you remember that? The whole sermon were sitting behind the pastor. Do you understand what I'm saying? Instead of coming down to listen to him, no, they would look at him from behind. There were some chairs behind. Because it's all a representation that I'm not going to explain why now. But they would make the people sit there. There were pastors that would allow women to sit there. They had the whole congregation and then a woman that had her legs there. And of course she gets tired of sitting like that. She's going to move around her legs, even if she has a skirt, even if they don't see anything. Man just sees legs moving, and they see something else that nobody else is seeing because the legs were moving. And immediately the woman goes like this and calls the attention. This is what happened. So then I heard that Jesus will save you, you're a sinner, but there's a girl there, there's a woman there. And we know that that woman is what I've already told you. So then my dad, knowing that human nature of man, he said, I don't want any women out here. It distracts the men. It doesn't distract the women. It distracts the man. There cannot be a broad to be preaching and to actually give the message of the Christian message that men won't say the barbarities that your mind is saying right now. Jesus said, knowing that everyone did this, he says, have you heard that it is written, thou shalt not fornicate? But I tell you, all of you, I know you very well because it happens to me. I'm sure that Jesus was speaking for them. This is out of the abundance of the heart, the tongue speaketh. So then he says, don't think that you're not fornicating. Those of you that think in your heart and desire a woman, mind you. He said it for everyone sitting there because he knew the nature of man. And you know what he said there? You're all sinners, hypocrites. Because all of you, being male, of course you look at women, whether they're your wife or not, with different eyes. And the way I know you, because I programmed you, don't act like an idiot because I know you and I've programmed you. And now that I have human skin, I feel it. So then that about you not fornicating, you know what? Actually, you're all fornicators, all of you. That's why I come to die here to liberate you. That's what he said. That is what he said. No one understands that. The people, the Christian hypocrite people talk about how they're so pure. That's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. Pastors are so pure they've gotten to a level of holiness. That's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. They're more sons of bitches, the pastors, the priests, the rabbis. Or else there wouldn't be so many priests that violate. I mean, to top it off, violators. But for the guy to have certain sexual desires for certain women, I mean, that's fine. I'm not saying it's fine. I mean, you can comprehend it according to what the Creator placed there. But to that to be grapers, that is to really let loose part of the information, because he didn't allow us, because if he placed this, every man would be a violator. Tell the truth that the violators, I think it's just a small part of men. Not even a big group. For me, the violators are the minority of men. true men are not violators. Not that there are violators. I mean, they're imbeciles, but the true men are not violators. But the information, they all have it. That is the information I'm giving. Do you understand my words? A different subject that you're not going to want to give a comment because somebody felt offended. Now I see that men will feel offended. I heard Christians, but I'm not like that. And I'm going to say, fuck off. Go fuck off somewhere else, you fucking idiot. Lie to some bitch, but not me. I know the heart. The Messiah read it. You fornicator sons of bitches, you're all adulterers. That's what he's saying. He's not saying that one that looks at a woman to covet her heart and sins is you're all adulterers, all of you. That is what he's saying. Why? Because that is what he programmed. So then, men shall rule over women, and women have no way of changing that. We can fake it, we can educate it, we can contain it, but what you will not be able to contain is what's in the mind of the man, and that the male is the ruler of men. It is a phallic centrism. They also place an obelisk for you, not just the virgin. The huge cultures place an obelisk because the one that has the biggest one, they're the most powerful. The one that has it the biggest, they're the most powerful. And I'm superior even to the very ones of the others because mine's bigger than yours. That is what man thinks. If a man has a very small one, he's not so powerful. He's more powerful than a woman, but the bigger you have, even the saints, he has a big one. It's because he's strong, because he's a male, a macho. It is clear. That is clear. So then who has the biggest obelisk of all, the whole earth? Washington. And what is the second one? Argentina. That's interesting. That's interesting. Very interesting. But why? Because it all goes around the phallic cylinder. They're all followers. The whole world is a follower, even we. Because we, the men, are followers of the phallic system. We have to look at who has the biggest phallic symbol, which is Trump. And Netanyahu is his biggest one, because if we had the bigger one, we'd be above them. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a comedy or a parable. But that's the way it is. Now, the women, what do they have? Nothing. Nothing. Women, it's a zero to the left. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And I'm in defense of women. That has to change. That's why I'm not going to leave the subject like that. I'm presenting to you the situation to the naked. If we don't understand this situation, then there's no solution. If we close our eyes saying we're getting better now, I want equality for women, I look at women as equal, I would be even lying. I'd be lying. I know. I listen to myself. Stop lying. You don't think that women are equal to men. You're more powerful because you're powerful that is very powerful and it's very powerful. And stop lying. Nobody believes you. Even if I say I believe in the equality of women and women. No, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. Now, I do believe in equality of women, but it doesn't exist now. It doesn't exist now. Women receive and men give. It is clear. It is absolutely clear. What else can I tell you? If we don't understand the problem, if you want to solve something with Germanic medicine, we have to go to the real solution. You can't invent a story and try to resolve a conflict. Say, yeah, I'm going to invent a story. Let's suppose that let's suppose I have a crab and I have such anger that one son of a bitch completely shit on me. It's something very vulgar. And so then I got a crab in the large intestine, the colon crab or something like that. So then since I know Germanic medicine perfectly well, that doesn't come because of age or anything else, but because they really shit on you something horrible, and you think that you didn't deserve it, and they completely shit on you, and you feel that anger, and precisely there in that shit, that is where it's formed. That is where you get a bigger intestine to be able to eliminate that. It's insanity of the brain that Yahweh invented. I'll tell it to you like that. But I want to solve the situation, but I say, oh no, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anger. I'll forgive him. But within I'm dying of anger. I'll forgive him. So then the one checking me, he's trying to find the conflict. And he says, are you sure you don't have anger? No, I don't have any anger. No one did anything to me. No, I have little problems with something else. I'll tell him something else. That has nothing to do with the facts. So the one that knows about Germanic medicine, he says, you're lying to me. Because what you do have, it clearly reflects that they completely shit on you and you're not accepting it. You son of a bitch, how are you going to get cured? So what does the Germanic medicine analyst do? He says, okay, fine, then go see the white robe priest. Let them help you. Because if you're not going to tell me the truth, then you cannot. I can't help you. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand or not? If you don't tell me the problem, you cannot be cured. And if I don't tell you the problem that this is the dominion of men, and if I don't tell you that truth, we cannot cure the world of anything. If you don't comprehend that God made women to be trampled upon by men, and that men will rule over her, we can't cure anything. We close our eyes and we say, no, I believe in equality. Any man that tells me I believe in equality, I'll believe him to that. But if he says, I really believe in I feel it, that she's equal, he's lying to me. He's lying to me. When a man tells you, I see women as equal as men, he's lying to you. Because we have different organs. One that gives and one receives. One is the fucker and the other one's the fucked. That's it. It's over. There's nothing to add. There's nothing to add. There's nothing else to add. He's lying to you. Whatever stupid idiot that tells you, I see women as identical. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. We all see equal as men and we respect them. And if we have to fight, we'll fight. But there is an honor from one male to another that it doesn't exist between a male and a female. It doesn't exist. If you think that in your stupid brain that maybe you deceived yourself, you say, yeah, I see women as equal. Well, first of all, you're an idiot. And second of all, that it has not been awakened in you yet. But in the moment that you look at a woman that does not have a penis, there is no respect. You are the Lord of any woman, of any one that doesn't have a penis. Now, once you run into a penis, you respect. Okay, yeah, I respect that. We can fight, we can argue, and kill each other, but there is respect. But with women, no respect. It doesn't exist. It didn't exist. If you don't understand that, which I'm saying, we cannot cure the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Because your comments that you don't comprehend certain things, it pisses me off. You are capable of saying stupid shit, and now I expect you to comment, and that's if this is not taken down from YouTube. Even the earth got upset. There was an earthquake right now, a slight earthquake. They got upset. Mother Earth got upset. Very well. So then, the curse is of men and women. I'll say that even if the enumeration, the brutal one, is greater for man, we're both fucked. Because the terrible curse that women got for man to look at her the way he looks at her is terrible. There's no way to fix it. There's just no way to fix it. There's no way to fix it. In this instance, there's no way. So then I'm not going to tell you that it's worse. That offense, we're fucked, both of us. Because men are ready to look at women like that. It's a curse in itself. And for a woman to be looked and dominated by men is a curse for her. So then, we're very much fucked in this creation. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about women, just a little bit. I told you that the subject is enormous. Do you find it interesting or not? Because you're listening to things that you don't hear anywhere else. When you listen to me, you don't hear what you hear in other dumb YouTuber that says, I'm here for women, in the defense of women. Suck my nut, you would say. We're also in the defense for women. Come on, let's go. That way they believe us that we're defending them, then we crush them. Don't laugh, Minto. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And all the ones that are in the defense of women, oh, how I wish I could make... leave them naked and see, let's see how much defense. He's the son of a bitch. Look at his intentions. Obviously, you have a program that you say men are superior and we're the masters. Women are the slaves. It is clear. It is clear. The programming we've had, it is just as much as the women has pain in labor. Yes or no? That's it. It's over. Think about it. If you think I'm wrong, then go back to Article 1. Women up until today, does she have pain in bearing children? Yes or no? Then up until today, then man is the Lord of women and looks at her like his slave. Not his wife, but all of them. And if he doesn't conquer them all, it's because he doesn't have enough, or he has other masters. And you respect other masters. You say, what do you have? Oh, you have that? Okay, then I'll respect you. I'll respect you. There's a sword. You have a sword. Is she alone? Oh, then they go there to prey on her. That is what man is, the nature that God made. Very well. Oh, the easy ones. I mean, he grabs them all, takes them all, of course. Of course. Man can't say no. I was taught a different education. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Okay, women, with a very good sense of the word, I'll say this, because it's applied to men also. Women, in the best sense of the word and expression, is the flora female cat. Just like the story. What does it mean? Just in case somebody that didn't hear me before, the female cat flora means that if you place it in her, she yells, and if you take it away, she'll cry. She'll be discontent with everything. When you place it upon her, she cries. But when you take it away, she's going to cry because she doesn't have it. And that is how all human beings are, in every sense of the word. But especially women. But men is also like that. But I'm going to talk about women right now. Talk about women. Flora, the cat, never satisfied, never. It would seem like a song. I want to add music on this. She pours her insatisfaction and frustration upon men. That's next to her. That's what Solomon says. It becomes a poison. But Solomon doesn't understand what the problem is. The problem is, and I'll touch on just very lightly on, that women, let's use this color. What color? A purple one. Women, let's suppose that here is level 0. Level 0. 0 here. Women start to get excited and get turned on. Let's say it's all level 0. The woman starts to get turned on slowly from going to 0. She starts to go up slowly. Just little, and she starts to, once she gets going, I mean, it becomes very terrible. And then after she has an orgasm, it goes down a bit, but it stays here. It doesn't go to 0. With the necessary input, she can take up more speed, and we stay in the clouds there with the woman until the woman says she's satisfied, and she can come down slowly. She stays not here, but she stays in a cloud. After a good orgasm, in more than one orgasm, she stays like revitalized. The life makes sense. It's all good. She wants to fix herself up, do things, because she's been revitalized with sex. What a beautiful experience of the woman, because very well serviced. She is in the cloud. She looks at the husband or the lover. The one that took her there could be whomever, a friend. Took her to that state, looks at him as, wow, no, I feel so good. I am such a woman, I feel great. What can I do for you? And she wants to later, maybe she wants more later. Okay, that's fine. That is the sexual life of a woman. Once she starts from 0, man comes. Let's start with red. Man comes, desire. Instead of moving this way, man does this way and this way. That's it, it's over. This could be here 30 seconds, like the song, 30 seconds to love. Man lives 30 seconds, and maybe I have 10 seconds too much, because men, and the more than anything, the premature ones, they don't need anything. They just go in, and that's it. They leave their charge, that's it, beep, beep, beep. Leave the charge, and that's it, it's over, it's empty. Let's fuck off, that's it. The most intelligent man these would be seconds, mind you. Seconds. Women hasn't even started here. Level 0 still. The most intelligent men they start with her, they elevate themselves. They do not allow to get too elevated, and they wait for the woman. They wait for her to get to her apex, and they're going over here. Sometimes they have to cool down their mentality a bit. And so then once they see that his woman is satisfied, then they go up there, they get there, and they go to 0. The thing is, when you go down to 0. So then, in statistics, up until 100 years ago, women didn't even know what orgasm was. They didn't know. Because men would just enter and get out and leave. Why? I'll explain why for many reasons. Because man had to work in the field or taking care of cattle or some place where things were made. I'm talking about the whole time of, not now, but all the history of time. Men had to work manually, very heavily. So then when he had time to go back home with his wife, he wasn't rested. He didn't come from a nap. He was dead. He just wanted to eat. His whole body was aching. And the last thing he wanted was to play with his wife for 2 hours. That was the last thing he wanted. He had his need, just quickly, just blah, 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 let's go. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And women got accustomed to that. When I try to explain certain things to you, women are prepared. And I'll say things that are nasty, but who's going to tell you if I don't? Because if I were to tell you, no, I'm not going to say anything, because maybe you don't understand. But women perfectly well could have a sexual relation without being excited and without anything hurting. Without anything hurting. And she feels give or take, but she could have a sexual relations give or take with her husband, or with whatever, or a prostitute, for example, or a prostitute that is not excited at all. Could one client to another, and another, and another, and another, and woman doesn't die. What is the hurt of violation? I'm not talking about girls. You take it to way too far. I'm not talking older women. About girls, I'm not even going to touch on that, because the abusers, we should kill them all. So don't take it to that, to the girls. No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about a woman. A woman. The point of view of a violation that marks her for all her life. Psychological. It's not physical. It hurts more for them to strike me in the face as a man than a violation to women. No matter what you say or what you think, it is prepared. The orifice is air. It may hurt, you may bleed, but it's not what affects women. What affects women is here, the violation. Here, it is psychologically here. Now, man, we can be struck because we fought over something. They can leave us with a black eye, and it doesn't affect me psychologically. It doesn't affect me psychologically because we know that it's a fair play. We had to fight, and I busted his face. He left me a black eye. That's it. We're friends later. But what was worse, the violation, or for some guy to strike you in the face and leave you a black eye? No matter what you think, I could care less what you think. The reality is that one thing is to be used and the other is not to receive a strike. So then when we talk about violations, you know how you fix them quickly? The people that are so marked like that, violently, that they ruin their life because of the violation, they ruin their worthless. Your dog shit, so dog shit, they lay you depressed. Look, dear, listen here, dear. The violation is not so bad as you think. Ooh, what I'm saying is something that you don't want to listen to because they've told you it's the worst thing there is. No, it's not the worst thing there is. And I'm not talking about girls, little girls. Okay, I'm talking about women. The violation, the problem is psychological. I'm not in defense of any violation. I want that to be clear, absolutely clear. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying that is a reality that God made women to have sex, whether she wants to or not. God made her that way. I'm not defending anything. I want you to understand my words as what they are. It's what happens in the world. So then, now women, their life is ruined because they've made it so, or they themselves made it such a, it is a lot more easier to surpass a violation. It's easier to say nothing happened really. You surpass it quickly. But when she's told, oh, the psychologist, oh, that's terrible, let's do treatment, let's forgive, oh, let's work on that, can't surpass it. You cannot get over it. It's as if I were to fight with punches, something that hurt me to the soul. Where did it hurt? In the soul. Nowhere else did it hurt. That's the truth. A son violates you more. When he's born, he violates you. I mean, there's no comparison. He rips a woman open. He really violates you, but nobody comes and saying that the son is violating you. Nobody sees it. Why does nobody see that and it's not marked up here? Because they don't relate it with a violation. When they go to the gynecologist, he places and opens you up and he looks at you to see, oh, let's see, I want to see what's the light. And the woman's like that. And she doesn't come out. Yes, she's completely violated, but not psychologically harmed. Why? Because she accepts that the gynecologist will stick cold priors in there. Maybe you don't understand, and sometimes I say maybe it's not even worth it to speak to you because it pisses me off when you don't understand my words. Sometimes I even question myself, why the fuck do I even speak? I should just keep that wisdom to myself. The violation only has any value whatever value the person that's violated wants to give it. Because if you want to take it out of your mind, you can take it out immediately. The only hurt there is psychological, nothing else. Nothing else. If you've been violated, I'm helping you if you hear my words. If you hear my words, you will fix your life quickly. If you want to, or else continue to cry like a fucking stupid idiot your whole life that you've been a poor girl that's been violated, take it out of your mind, because sex is the most normal thing in the world. Not the violation, but sex, because it's normal for a woman to go to the gynecologist to be opened up, and they say, oh, that's for my own good, for my own good, for my own good. You don't think that that son of a bitch violated. I'm not defending it at all, mind you. I'm trying to take it out of the mind of those that have been violated, out of their trauma. Think that that son of a bitch was a gynecologist, okay? And that's how you start to get rid of it. You solve it. If you want to, not, then die of your problems. That's the way it is. Okay. So then, women, since this does not take place, this here, did you know why it's difficult to talk about matrimonies? Because those that have an excellent matrimony, like in my case, it is difficult to speak about experiences that the rest have had. And it would be unfair on my point of view to tell you how beautiful matrimony is. Because I have a beautiful matrimony. Because I married the person that I loved. And ever since we were young. Because we learned things in this life. What was good, and what wasn't good. Because we get along. Because we love each other up until today. It does not mean that I should speak well about matrimony, because I look at my surroundings and it would be a reverend son of a bitch if I were to tell you matrimony is the best thing there is, because matrimony is not the best thing there is. It is probably the worst thing that exists, and it is not my case. Just an example. Let's suppose that somebody makes a car, and I go and buy a car, and he made 10,000 cars. They all break down and turn in, get set on fire. Not mine. They all explode. They kill their owners, but mine was excellent. For what reason? I don't know, but mine works well. I turn it on, I go wherever in that car. Let's suppose that it's called, I don't know, an Expo. Let's say Expo. It's called an Expo. And out of the 10,000 they made, 9,999 blew up, and they killed their owner. Not mine. Mine's great. I turn it on. It doesn't blow up. It works excellent. It's the best car I've ever had. Do I have the right to to say buy this car because it's really good, because I haven't had a perfect experience with my car. When I see that they all blow up, do I have the right to say this is a good car? I don't have the right to say that this car is good. I've said don't buy this dog shit. I was looking for some one way or another. This one was good. It was the only one that the owner did well. He's shit on all of you. Doesn't give me the right to say buy that car. So then, what I have to tell you about matrimony is the worst curse that God made upon this earth. Because man becomes an embittered person, and women become an embittered person, and there's no possibility whatsoever that this isn't so, except for some exceptions. And the exceptions make the rule to be true. The exception makes the rule real. Because matrimony is a curse. From the moment in which Adam said, he saw a woman, and he said, this is the bone of my bones and the flesh of my flesh. What right did he have? Did he had the right to tell a person that didn't even know him, look, baby, you're bone of my bones and the flesh of my flesh. That's why I will possess you and will be one. Could she say yes? No. Did she have the right to say, no, hold on, Adam, I want to know some other ones first? Could she have said, but I don't even like you? The fuck? What flesh are you talking about, you idiot? How's the guy going to say, you are bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh? Never seen anything more machista than that expression. You're an extension of me, come back to me. In the series Lucifer, which I loved, I saw some chapters. I was studying to give you these things. No, I'm just fucking with you. I didn't watch it, but Leslie watched it, almost all of it. Lucifer, just like that. Ends up at the end that Adam ran into, and Eve had abandoned. Eve was sick of Adam, and Adam wanted to go back to her. Some idiot, he wanted to go back with her. She says, no. Now I found a new partner. And Adam says, but what do you mean your new partner? Yes. He says, I found a woman, Lucifer, a woman demon, and lesbian is my perfect relationship. I don't want to know anything about you. I think it's excellent. It breaks your mind. I don't want to know anything else. And Adam, how was it? They wanted to get married again? Adam wants to get married again. And she says, no. There's a phrase, is no, Adam, I don't love you. I don't love you anymore. Something like that, right? Never loved you. He said, does she say I never loved you? It's just you're mine, like any man. You're mine. You belong to me, to my body, my flesh. So then, since it was the complete negative, Eve didn't accept it. Says, no matter if I came from you or not, now I am in love with this female demon. And then Adam says, at least allow me that in your new wedding, because they were going to get married, for me to hand you over. And Eve says, no, my beloved, I will walk alone. You know, before it was like the father, but she didn't have a father. It was the father, husband, everything. Then why do these series appear like that? To open our mind that it is not the way you've thought or the way you've been told. The world is different. The relationship of men and women are worse. Matrimony has always been and will always be a curse. A huge curse, but necessary. I found the ending of Lucifer here online, that Eve no longer loves Adam, but she finds her own path. And after separating, she sees that she's not destined to be the perfect woman, the more they want her to be. And she gets together with Masa, which was the female demon, to build a future together. Right. It's very good because everything that, if you heard Leslie, which you heard perfectly well, that she's sick and tired of being told what she has to do or be to be perfect as a woman. Exactly. I don't see that chat is moving. Is anybody left over? Is anybody left here? Or if I'm just talking to you? Minto's only here. The rest, they all left. No one is left here. Just Minto listening to me. Is it less people? They're shocked. They're puking. They went out to puke. They're saying, I can't believe what I hear. How many views do we have? How many likes do we have? Oh, what? We used to be 300 before. And it's difficult, the subjects that I present. Tell the truth, it's difficult. And the last one, turn off the light, but it's difficult. It is very difficult because they're difficult. It's subjects that you don't want to listen to, what you've never wanted to listen to. I present it to you. What you never wanted to listen to, what you're not prepared to listen to, what you never imagined to listen to, it's here in the eternal truth. So it's difficult for the people. It is difficult for the people to accept this. Now, those who are left and love this, I am going to have to ask you to give us a like and to not forget that I live. And you have this message thanks to what you donate, because the day that that's not enough is the day that I'll dedicate myself to work something else, and I won't give this. I'm not going to do two things. So then if a few are left, then what's being reduced is the people that donate for this is reduced. If you care about the subject, if is really what you want to listen to, if it's your motive in life, what you're waiting to listen to, then don't forget that we live thanks to you. You have to support the eternal truth, because as the people leave, also the help leaves, and everything starts to get reduced. And when it gets reduced to the minimum that is not even enough for me to pay the house, then I'm going to say, guys, I'll see you later. Maybe I'll remember you someday, and I'll go and work for now. That's the way it is. So then, and as all is fulfilled, because it is fulfilled, maybe I'll remember. So then, those who believe in this, I don't just ask you for the like, for you to comment, like, and to monetarily support this ministry. So then, we were talking about how women has another symphony than men. When women marries man, she sees a hope of somebody that will support her monetarily, protect her, no matter if she works. They look for the man, they look for security in a man. She has to have that security. So then she looks for protection for men, and she looks for something that is written in the DNA of every woman, every man. She looks for procreation, because we have a command, which is multiply the earth, which, like I've already explained. We have an order of multiply, reproduce. We have to reproduce. We have to fulfill the earth. So then, men that is tired comes from work, like I've explained to you, I won't deviate. Man comes tired for his sexual need, it's short, he's tired, so then women receive the little bit that man gives, but doesn't fill her. Makes her feel unsatisfied. Maybe not used, but sometimes yes, but there are women that can feel used because they don't share, no pleasure are given, they feel used. That could be the term. There are terms, I looked this up in all the terms that there's ever been, insatisfaction, frustrated, with depression, because she would wish she could fly. She needs sexually to be satisfied, and men cannot satisfy her. When I was little, I have to digress a bit, talking about her, in my case is different because I had something that you didn't have. When I was little, my dad had lots of sexual books. And amongst those sexual books that I would read all, I was much of a reader, an avid reader. There was a book that I wish I had it now. I don't know where it ended up. It was a Chinese book that talked about the tantric sex, and he had a whole introduction. The book did of why in China and in India they started to practice a different kind of sex between men because the rich could have more than one woman. So then they went to ask certain wise men, the ascended wise men, what they could do if they could barely satisfy one woman, and barely at that. If they had three and four, five, a whole harem, how could they do it to have sexual relations with many women and not end up buried in a little time? That is just a joke, and to be able to satisfy them all. How to do that? Because if with one man is left, which is useless. Imagine if at night you have to satisfy 10 because all 10 are asking for something. Then the wise men taught them, and this is in the whole book that I read, that they had special techniques. First of which was breathing. When there's no oxygen, you stop the oxygen, you stop it. The reaction of man is stopped from the stimulation of the organs. So then when the special time comes when you know that a certain reaction starts, and a chain reaction, which is a point in which the point of no return, well, right before that point of no return, when a man has to know his sexuality, not like a brute, but he has to be an expert in sexuality, a good man. If he has to satisfy women, that doesn't happen. That's why the matrimonies are like dog shit. That's why then I learned since I was very little, special techniques to not finish quickly, to last whatever I want to, whatever long that I want with it, with whatever intensity that I want. And if I want to, the book teaches there are techniques to feel an intense pleasure, not orgasm, and to reserve all the energy and be satisfied. So then that is what these guys learned that had many women. They had one, they wouldn't finish, they served another, and they could serve for hours and hours. And they didn't have the need of just letting their load. There was no need, because they would spend their load and it would stop. So then they could be with one and another, everyone together. I was there learning to enjoy, looking for not orgasm but close to orgasm. And if man learns that there are certain things close to orgasm, it would seem to emulate. It's not really an orgasm. They teach you how to tense certain muscles so that a very good pleasure to go up, very satisfactory, and that you don't need to finish, because you know that if you finish, then it all ends. So then you can save it. So then I read that whole book in the positions, and that man, it's primordial for women to finish at least once. And I said at least, if not more, in case man wants to finish, because then you finish like a king. I learned it since I was little, before even having the idea of what the fuck sex was. I would read that, and I didn't know anything, nothing. I didn't understand anything, but I would read that, and then I would go back and read it again, and I grew up and read it again, and I said, oh, here's the secret. What they said, this is the secret of masculinity. If men knew this, then women would be melted to your feet. When men doesn't know that, then you have what Solomon has. Being that hates you, and that will make your life, I don't know if she hates you, but will make your life better. Why? Because you're making her life better. You don't give her what she needs. You never have patience with her. You don't want to listen to her. And in sex, you don't give her what the woman needs. And if she's barely getting turned on, you finish, you leave her worse than even if you didn't turn her on. It was like, oh, we're going to eat, and then you stop. We're going to go running, and then you're done. And it's done. And it was done. Kids are looking at me here like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Well, learn. I learned it. I learned when I was 6 years old. I was an avid reader. Then, when I could go to the library, I would get all the sex books that I could. I think I was preparing myself to be able to teach this to you, not these techniques. I'm not teaching these techniques. It's not my mission to make you perfect lovers and to fix your matrimony. No, that's what I could care less about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about why your wife is upset at you because you don't satisfy her. And it's not your case. I'm talking to men in general. Why women become witches? Because man does not satisfy them because he does not have the energy. And if he had a little bit of energy, he doesn't know how to use it. And it goes quickly. And a poor man, he's tired outside with the sweat of his brow. He eats the bread, and with the sweat of his brow, he makes love, and he ends up completely exhausted. He doesn't want to know anything. The lady wants money, and now that's it. It doesn't even stand up. Doesn't even want to stand up. There comes a point where it doesn't even want to stand up. That's it. Doesn't want to. Doesn't want to because it's all an effort. Because with the effort, you make the work with effort, and and with that effort, you eat and everything. It takes a lot of effort for sex, not like women. Women is easy there. It's just that if she had a good man that's skillful, not good because anyone could be a good one. A stupid idiot could be good. He could be the wickedest of them all, but very good at sex. But good at sex, a woman that has a man that is good at sex, he satisfies her. Either way, it's not going to satisfy her, but it's clear that God made this for the woman to be slow like a snail, and the man comes that is more than a rabbit, is a lightning. It's an instant. It's open, but that's it. So, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And the woman's like, no, hold on, that's it. It's over. It's over. It's over. In fact, the man finishes the act per se. He finishes the act. He no longer even wants to be touched by the woman. It's like it went from great being turned on to I love you, just to say, and then you're a bitch. I don't want you to touch me. Don't even touch me. He'd rather go to sleep. He'd rather turn and says, I'm so tired. Now, if he was tired before, now he is exhausted. He is become shit, and maybe you tempt him with watching a movie, but don't be on top of him or touching him or that you doesn't want to know anything. It's like it become more than gay in a question of seconds. He doesn't want to see her from having a brutal attraction. Now he has like an aberration. Practicing that with the techniques that I've told you about, he can surpass that because man learns when. I'm not going to give you a sex lesson here because that is not the subject. The Messiah is not going to teach you how to have better sex. What is the problem that humanity is? So then, man satisfies his own needs, but that's even his vital. It gives him fatigue and pain. Doesn't want anything else, and leaves women unsatisfied and frustrated, and it's manifested in bitterness towards men, adding all of the other frustrations that man does not provide for her and nor allows her to realize. And then on top of it all, he subjugates her. And also for that man is her Lord, and the woman becomes a being that is bitter. And Solomon says, I don't know why women are so bitter. Solomon, because you were so bitter. A woman. I was going to give a term. A woman that is, I was going to say well fucked, but now I'll say the well serviced sexually. Well serviced in other needs that she has is complete sweetness. Women that are bitter is because they're not receiving the attention that they should or wish, and they don't obtain it. That is the problem of the women. That's one of the problems. I could add many other problems. This is one so that you start to visualize that Solomon was wrong. So then, adding all the other things that man doesn't let her become independent. The subject is way too deep and wide. How long have I been saying? 2 hours 25. It's an enormous subject. I wish I could speak about the subject only about how women were brought up some centuries ago, what her options were, how she saw life, and how she sees it now. Just so you have an idea, but I'm not going to talk about that now, but I think we got to talk about it so you understand. If I were to grab my great grandma, for example, let me give you the experience of my mom. My mom told me, when I got married with your dad, your grandma came, in other words, my dad's mom, which is Elena, my grandma, Elena, he says, come here, Angelina, I want to talk to you. He says, look, Angelina, every night, maybe Agustin, who's my dad, talked to her as if the other one didn't know anything about anything, but that's how they would speak back then. When Agustin comes, who's going to be your husband, you're going to turn off the lights. You're going to lay on the bed and allow him to do his thing. He'll last some minutes and then it's over. Don't you worry. That's all you have to do. That's what my mom told me, and she would completely laugh. That is what she told me. She was preparing me because I want you to understand what mind my grandma had. For my grandma, what sex was that he would turn off the light, she would just lay there, open her legs, and it was less than a minute, and it's over. It's over. No, nothing else. So then he was preparing her son's wife to not suffer and think it's a violation, that it's normal, that would happen, that it would last a couple minutes and with the lights off and that's it's over, to not cry or anything. Wow, I mean, just so you understand how sex was back then. And that's my grandma. And my mom would tell us that, and we would all laugh our asses off, because of course my mom, which later she read all the information about sex, she says that she loved sex. What do you mean the lights off? And what do you mean only one position? Let all the positions that there's ever been. I sucked from that culture that my mom gave me, which was very, in that aspect, free of sex. That's why she would give me those books to read, so that it wouldn't be a brute like the grandma. Now, if I knew my great-great-great-great-grandma, what would she tell me? I didn't even want to know what she would tell me about sex. Only in the rich levels of society where there was lots of money, that is where they would practice sex that was a bit more varied, more wide, of a wider spectrum. But in what poverty is, like a philosopher said, poverty and slavery is the same word. Very same word. Poverty and slavery, the same word, because it was defined that way. Because in both cases, one gives all the energy of their muscles for another person. Exactly. The poor, they have to work and work and work, and they are rewarded little. The slave is the same. They work for another. What they receive is very little. It's just food to live. The same thing. Slavery and poverty is the same thing. And in poverty, ignorance is brutal in sex, and the punishment to women, don't even mention it. This humanity has suffered so much that if I wouldn't learn it from the very, or grab the bull by the horns and say, look, this is the problem. Man thinks this way. These are the curses. We have to do something about it. That's why I told you everything that I've told you. Value it. Don't come at me and say, oh, I think in a different way. I could give a fuck what you think. What I told you is the truth. What you think, shove it up your ass. Because that's how you were educated. You don't know nothing. You know nothing. If you know that women give birth with pain, then know something. Every man will look at you like you're a slave and a sexual an object and a cunt speaking. Nothing else. It's the same law. And men is above women under these laws. So then if we don't understand what reality is, we can't do anything. Now, having understood reality, now we can do something. Now we can do something. Now I'll tell you the solution, but I have to tell you other things. So then, man never, ever, ever admires a woman. if it's not in his gene code to dominate, a man does not admire a woman. The only one he admires is the mother, because it's the mother and the virgin. The rest, no matter how well she does things, you can admire a little bit the quality they have, but the internal man has in his gene code to dominate her. With other words, that curse causes for the woman to always be seen like an object, a vagina, walking, not like an equal. Once I heard a woman that said, "Men, I'm so sick of men. I wish," she says, "I wish to be able to take out," but she's talking about as a parable. I wish I could take my vagina and leave it at home and to be able to go and work, and for men to not see my vagina. In other words, men don't see the vagina. Women entirely is the vagina. So then women said, "I'm sick and tired of how men look at me wherever I go." They look, because the woman's beautiful. She dresses up. She looks beautiful. She wants to be beautiful in her taste. Men will look at her because she's it's a cute. There's some ugly vaginas, old ones, and there's beautiful vaginas. So then she says, "Oh, am I listening to Christian, or whom am I listening to? No, I'm telling you the truth." So then this woman says, "How I wish I could leave my vagina at home to be looked at as a person." It'll never happen. It'll never happen. Because she can't take her vagina out. It won't happen. So then I'll continue. So man will always look at women like an object, like a vagina, not like an equal, but something that can be penetrated. Man penetrates always. And the other object is the one that is penetrated. So then there's a hole that you can penetrate. What is that hole that can be penetrating saying? Nah. President? I mean, you're a hole that can be penetrated. Why don't you just shut the fuck up? That is what man thinks. I'm telling you in a brutal manner, brutally honest. And if she's a female pastor, you can talk to me about God? Why don't you get naked, bitch? That's what man is. That's why there can't be a female pastor. There can't be a female pastor. That, of course, the idiots. The female pastors. We want to be pastors. What? You don't even know what the fuck you're saying. You wish you were pastors. But talk to women only. Don't talk to men. Because when you talk to men, then men are just going to look at you and say, "Oh, it's all nice about Jesus. I'll ask you to forgive me. But could you please turn around? Show me the cross." But I mean, man, that goes through and you're all with your serious faces. Glorified be the Lord. Yeah, that's what he's thinking about. That's the way it is. Just like the songs of, give or take, right? Like the songs of, if you listen to Powerwolf, give or take, you'll understand what I'm telling you. I don't think this has never been said. I've never heard a YouTuber saying the barbarian that I'm saying, and you don't hear that, right? No, what I'm saying, you don't hear it anywhere. It is completely censored. It's censored, right? Because here the new generation looks at me like saying, I mean, it can't be so. You haven't grown up yet. Once you grow up, they call old man an old goat. Why an old goat? Are all men old goats? No, the entire man is an old goat, not the old one. The old one, he's always slobbering, but generally men are like that. Not me, okay, because I've ascended. It's only you. I've ascended. So then, I'm saying here, that is the reason of why no woman could serve in the Jewish temple. Of course, they would always have looked at her like a vagina speaking. That's it, it's over. This has a disparity because in order for the male and female sex to function well, it is not born. It become that. It is trained. Pardon me? It is learned, exactly. A man that doesn't learn to have sex, a woman that doesn't know anything about sex, will never have good sex. In their fucking life, they'll die having sex of the worst quality. To have good sex, they need training, learning, lecture, reading, practice, lots of practice. With the fingers, with the tongue, with the body, with time, everything. It's all sex. It's all about sex. And everything that man does, he has to do so well. Because he does it wrong and women get turned off. To top it off, women, if you do something that's out of place, then you turned it all off and it goes from zero. And if she allows you because it all got and says, no, you don't know how to do it, it told you that rhythm. If you don't keep up that rhythm, it doesn't take me anywhere. You're not taking me to any elevator. You're not a Superman. I want a guy that takes me up, and makes me fly and fly and fly. But you, I've been with this guy and that guy and that. I mean, that right there. And they deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve it entirely. That's why women should try many men to really know if they're doing a good job right there or not. Because maybe she married some mechanic that does whatever. But if a woman knows different mechanics and the work they do, and which one leaves her engine well oiled, that is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and spectacular, and goes up into the highway, because there's someone that going first, they don't know anywhere from there. That's where they stay, because he doesn't know. No. So then the woman, if she knows, at least she can teach and train him. It's all a technique. Like playing tennis. Not just anybody. Everybody wants to play tennis. And then I'll hit the ball. No, hit it well. Hit it in the right way. Don't just hit it. It's how to grab the racket, the tennis racket. I have spectacular things that I'll talk about of how we change things. And what about tennis and all the rest. But taking that out. That's why sex is so awful between humans. Now it's been getting better and better because there's more information. People look up online. They see, how do you have sex? Let's see. How do you have oral sex? How do you move your tongue? And what rhythm do you use? It's not just like that. It's not just like that. You have to have a rhythm, an exact rhythm to take to a point. You have to know the breathing of the woman, the beats of the woman, the temperature of the woman. It's not just blah, 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 and that's it. It's over. It isn't like that. It's a technique that has been polished. And the better you are, the easier it is. And faster, or else you could be there all day and nothing happens. All day, and you do not obtain the product. We don't obtain it. Because it's all an art. It's an art. And man, the last thing they want is to learn the art. They want to finish quickly and then move on to something else. And that's it. It's over. So then that's why your matrimony is wrong, because your man never gives you the time that you wanted or that you needed or that even existed in his mind. What I'm talking about, like my grandparents didn't exist in their mind. So then in this sex, male and female, is an art to be able to understand each other. It is not natural. It is learned. What happens with why gay male sex? They say that it is better, not just better between men, but it is more quantity. In other words, let's suppose between a man and a woman, I'm going to talk about young people, 20 to 40 years old, 50. Give or take, between heterosexual couples, they have an average of once to twice a week. Once to twice a week. And if they have 3 and 4, that's fine, but it's not the norm, and then it becomes to 1 or twice a week, and then it cools down to once a month or once a year, depending. Now, gay sex is from 1 to 3 times a day. We're talking about the frequency, you can look this up online. It is more than twice or triple. You just say, but why? What's happening here? Why between a man and a woman, and as a couple, they have a certain amount of times, and why do gay couples have more times? Is degeneration better? What the fuck? Right? Why? The thing is that between men, they understand each other a lot better. The rhythm of men is the same. They know how to understand each other a lot better. I can't explain it because I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I've never had a gay relationship. So then I can't explain it. I'm explaining it to you from what I read. So then actually it's understood a lot better because the psychology of women are very different to that of the woman. In the other hand, men, when they respect each other and then they switch the roles, they switch back and forth, they can have more quantity. I mean, I don't know, I don't know, if somebody maybe, I was going to say something stupid, but if somebody wants to explain, no, I was going to say something stupid, but no. No. The thing is that they have more sex. Why? Because they understand each other more. It is difficult, the relationship between a man and a woman. Now let's move to something else that I also don't know. Lesbians. Lesbian relationships, the lesbians are going to tell you, not the heterosexual ones, that it is a lot superior to sex with man. Those who are lesbians and they discover lesbian love, well done, not just any. They say that it is a paradise next to what a man can offer, because a woman has, aside from the tongue, hands, and everything that I've told you, she has the same desire and symphony as the woman, and when they get turned on, they are both at the same level. And they both know what they like, and they both know that they can keep that for hours, keep that going for hours, and they have an orgasm, so they can have another, and another, and another, and another, and another. Men can never even dream, I mean, not even Superman. I don't know what chapter, but not we. We just one and then move on to something else, not women. So then between two women, since you have a fire, they get together with another fire, and then they say it's so much superior, and now it's been, well, the existence has always been there. There are phallic artifacts from centuries and centuries and centuries. But now with all the toys that a woman can have, silicone with strap-ons, with that move, that vibrate, that jump, that become bigger and smaller, and they're bigger than yours. With that, they put a strap on, and now they emulate a male in the best way possible, and a lot more powerful than a man. And so then they say, you know what? You dog shit, man. You have a true penis, but this satisfies a lot more. And it satisfies a lot more because they're women and they satisfy each other. They know what they like. They're in the same symphony and they use the same things. They're an imitation, but they use our organs. And you know what? They never want to go back to a guy. Never, ever. Because after having sex, they can chat, kiss each other. A man says, no, it doesn't want to know anything. That's it. It's over. That's it. And so then, what am I saying? What am I saying? That we should all become gays and lesbians and solve the world? No, I'm not saying that either. You're capable of saying that. You're capable of drawing that conclusion. That's insane. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that something odd is happening. In the couples, they treat each other like shit. One finishes and the one's barely starting. Between men, they get along because they both start and then together, and then it's all fine. But with women, they get even better. So then what is the solution of all this? I have the first solutions that we will implement in the new kingdom. I have them. I have them, and I will say them. And I was going to say them. I was going to say them because Argentina's going to play. I talk to you. I mean, it seems like a woman that I can really last, and I'm still flying in the clouds. But let's not do stupid shit. It's been 3 hours explaining this to you. I'm sure you got really offended last Shabbat. Oh, how are you going to say that about women? I hope you understood. But I have the solution, the immediate solution to all these problems. In the new kingdom, here we can start to understand them. I'm not telling you to practice them because we can't. But I want for every one of you in this school of the Messiah, the eternal truth, to clearly understand what it is that we will do as soon as the power is given us of being God with the same power of the Creator. If now we start to plan this, then everything will be very smooth and comprehended because we've been created the new kingdom already. But that I will tell you next chapter now. No, I can't tell you anything because if I tell you, I'm going to reveal and have to develop. I can tell you this. I can't tell you this. If you're interested, then come back next Shabbat. Give us a like. Argentina has to win over Mexico. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I only speak to Argentinians, so then that's fine. I mean, wow. I think that you don't even know what I'm going to say. I think you can't even expect it or guess. But what you can expect, what you do expect, is that I read this. Psalm 78, 1 through 2. Hear, O my people, my law, and hearken thine ears unto the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in proverbs. I will speak hidden things, hidden from the times of old. How these words sound. And I want them to resound in your ears. Well, because maybe your belief, which is something of which you live and die for that information that you believe to be true. Pay attention to my words. Because you may have been it could have been directly against your beliefs. Maybe you believed in Santa Claus, and I showed you something else. But what I showed you is the truth. No matter how you see men, I've shown you the truth, and you have to do something about it. Because if we have to solve this, what is the solution? Well, I have the solution, and I will tell you that next Shabbat. That's why I love these words. We are those crazies. Do you know it, my friends? We are crazy because we think that there is an eternal justice which is called to rule the world. We are crazy because we think that all men are born equal and free, that the same thing as in religion and politics, they have rights and uniform duties in the eyes of heaven. We are crazy because we think that in all nations they are free and sovereign, and that there's no more legitimacy politically in the world than what proceeds from their wills. We're crazy because we think that the kingdom of reason shall come someday. We are crazy because we don't want to believe that the tyrants, the imposing and infamy shall rule forever upon the earth. We are crazy because we don't want to believe that there's nothing in the world that is positive and perpetual outside of the chains, the cannons, the lead, and crime. That is why we are crazy, yes. And if that's why we're crazy, I feel proud to be crazy in that way. I become proud of believing the way that I believe, that a grave is already dug up for our tyrants, that liberty cometh, that the reign of the people draweth nigh, and that an epoch, a great one, will begin. I don't know if you know the lyrics of this song. If you don't know it, or if someone else sings it, I don't know. But I knew it when it came out, and it's sung by Alejandro Lerner. Alejandro Lerner is an Argentinian singer-author, in case you didn't know him, and that I liked in its time. He was singing rock. I always liked him. Some romantics also. He sung a song called At All Lungs Out. all at all lungs. Todo pulmón in Spanish. It says how difficult it is. That's how it started, right? Right. It's by memory. I haven't found it. How difficult it becomes to stay in this crazy path. Let me read it because you're going to like the lyrics, okay? How difficult it is. I want you to think about this song because I think it's majestic, a philosophy, so that you think. For you to apply it to your life and to us. And I speak for myself because it becomes difficult to explain it, everything that I have, and to live it here. How difficult it is to keep me on this trip without knowing where I'm actually going. If there's one way or another, if the van is the first, if returning is a way to get there. How difficult it is to carry all this luggage. It is hard to climb when walking. This tyrannical reality who laughs out loud because it expects me to stop my searching. That's phenomenal what I've just read. This tyrannic reality which laughs out loud because it expects me to stop searching. Every note, every idea, every step in my career, and the stanza of my last song. If each postponed date, the departure and arrival, and the oxygen from my breathing, and all with lungs, how difficult it is to keep with courage away from the braid and the harlotry, and defend my ideology, good or bad, but mine, as human as the contradiction. How difficult it is to keep on paying the toll of this path of madness and ambition. A friend in the career, a light in the staircase, and the strength to do everything by the lungs. Every note, every idea, every step in my career, and the stanza of my last song. If each postponed date, the departure and arrival, and the oxygen from the breathing, and all with lungs, all with lungs. How fascinating. Did you know that song? Did somebody know it here? Okay. As homework, listen to the original. I don't care about anyone else later. Listen to the original from Alejandro Lerner, all with lungs. It's all with lungs, with the incertitude that we don't know where we're going, we're coming in or out. It's fantastic. It is fantastic lyrics. I don't know why I wanted to, but I wanted to share it with you. This morning I thought about it. I was on my computer and I said, it's all at lungs. You do everything with lungs. Everything that I explain, I have to explain it all with lungs because it's difficult to understand. They said, you're a misogynist. You're this and that. Why don't you all fuck off? A flower is born every day. The sun is born every now and then. You hear that voice as of a delicious bread to sing in the balconies of the mind with the cicadas. But in turn, a transformer exists which consumes the best of you. He throws you back and demands more and more, and there comes a point in which you no longer want to. Suck at the liberty's breast, you will always carry her within the heart. They may corrupt you. You may even forget, but she is always there. Yesterday I had a dream with the hungry, the crazies, those who left, those who are in prison. Today I awoke singing this song, which has been written some time ago. It is necessary to sing it once again, one more time. The destiny is written. The end is inevitable. Semper Fi. God, the true God, is Argentinian. Let's go the eternal truth. This whole subject that I presented is dedicated to women, to men, and all of humanity, which we are imprisoned, we're victims, we are tortured. And I want for all to be liberated. I expect for you to come back next Shabbat. Hallelujah. To each and every one of you, don't forget to comment, give us a like, and to support this ministry. And don't forget that Argentina plays today. We all play against the Mexicans. Let's see if we win. And also, let's go Boca. And let's go Miguel Angel Russo, who left us. And that soon we shall awaken again. Hallelujah to every one of you.